or a 4 of a kind, which kills the deck.
Got you, okay.
It's a good game. Grandmother taught me that one.
That's what's up. That sounds dope.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I think we are ready, man.
Hajimarimasu.
What's that mean?
Let's get it going.
Hard. You want to count down to something? You can count it down if you want.
Oh,
I'll give you another second. Let me see if this natural light look better. We need to get some curtains in this bitch. Hold them down, blankets.
I knew I should have brought my puchita, man.
Your what?
Puchita.
What's that?
Puchita, man.
What's that?
Chainsaw, man.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
What?
I started the first episode and I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling it.
Puchita, man. The fucking dog with the chainsaw. Oh, man. You weren't feeling it?
I don't know if I even gave it a fair shot, to be honest, if I'm being fair about it.
I don't really want to give it a countdown. I'd rather just start organically, you know, so.
All right. I'll give your little intro, and then I'll introduce you and shit, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
What's going on, y'all? Today I'm sitting down with a multifaceted individual, man of many talents. From sushi to Japan culture in general, to desserts, frozen treats. Overall good dude, Mr. Keegan. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. How you doing, bro?
Can't complain, man.
Right on.
Long time in the making.
Yeah.
Glad we could finally sit down and get this going.
Honored to be here. A little nervous, so.
It's all good.
So, yeah, I'm ready.
If you want to give a little breakdown of more in detail what I was just talking about in terms of just you and what you do and what you're currently doing right now in life.
Well, I think that I'd like to express that the earlier part of my adulthood, I was actually a painter and an artist.
Okay.
And that's how I became familiar with most of Cleveland's, artist echelon or, underground.
The creative side.
Mm-hmm. I used to do these not so elaborate, but very beautiful mosaic type of paintings on mirrors back in 2012. I've been living on Coventry Road for 20 plus years. Went to Cleveland Heights High School, got expelled. But that's where I met the Coventry kids. And in Ingenuity Fest 2012 or 13 it was, I did a collaboration with them. And I think that's what really put me on the map, or, brought a lot of...
Did a collaboration with the festival?
With the Coventry kids,
okay,
the Cov kids. So back then there was a conglomerate of artists. It was Dirty Jones, we used to call him. His name is Wally, though. He manages a grog shop. And then there was also, a whole bunch of dudes, man, cool-ass people.
Shut them out.
Anthony Weaver. He's like a older dude. I think he's older than me, but he was like a role model almost in a sense. I looked up to that dude. He was real cool. Always been a cool dude. He was a part of the conglomerate. That's actually the same. They used to have this house on Hillcrest. They called it the Crest House. And they used to throw these like cool ass parties, bro. It was like fire. Like everybody in the Heights would come to the Crest House on taco night, and they would make tacos for everybody. And then they would just have these banger ass parties. It was so cool because like all these cool ass people was in one house at one time. And I think that's the same year I met Rod. Shots by Rod.
Yeah.
Cause he lived in the same house, but that's a little more information I should be giving. But yeah, I think that's the same year I met like Tezo and them too, cause he shot a music video in there, and like they had the smoke screen, and we was all smoking, getting super high and shit. So, you know, based off of that like energy, like we built like a camaraderie, and yeah. So 2013 is when I did Ingenuity Festival, and the theme that year was to feed, and so they had like this idea of like putting these plants, because there was this dude named Colin. He does the Farmer's Feast. If you ever heard of it, it's like a food truck now. But he's always been into farming, and they put these like plants inside of toilet bowls, so it was inside of the Port of Cleveland, which I think like that building now is abandoned, but back then it was like being abandoned, and it was like the last year of its use. So we did this exhibit where people came in and they had like this creative freedom. I brought in a bunch of markers and spray paint, and we let people spray paint on the walls. People was like marking up the walls, the toilet area and everything. It was real ghetto, but it was real cool too to see like, the expression from everybody. And that was the year I met my very first mentor in life. Her name was and is Josie Ann Keller. She's a RIP to Josie Ann Keller. She's deceased now, but a very fantastic woman. She was I think she was from Austria.
Okay.
Woman, she's very intelligent, very, very intelligent. She was a puppeteer. She would make claymations she would make these claymations, and she had like such elaborate stories, and she was actually really, really renowned in the art industry around the world. So she actually, she encouraged me. Not only, she was actually one of my first influences toward Japanese culture. Back then I was in school and I wanted to go to CIA, the Cleveland Institute of Art. And she actually told me, Keegan, you don't need to go to a college and be put into a box. What you do already is, it's like,
you were already on the path.
Fantastic, yeah. So, I love that woman. She really brought me out of like, my small-minded. I mean, I've never really been small-minded, but like I had such a linear thought pattern, like I it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. She's really the one that helped me see the broader spectrum of life, of what not only Cleveland has to offer, but the world. And she was one of the first people, I think, that really taught me that there's more good people in the world than there are bad and evil people. Because, I grew up in East Cleveland. I know everybody say that. I'm from EC, but realistically, I literally grew up in East Cleveland, and I saw like the dirtiest people in the world, and it wasn't, there wasn't much faith for me that, for people.
Yeah.
As a child,
Yeah, you have a linear outlook on life, like, oh, this is life. This is kind of like humans. All that other stuff on TV, that's not my life. Like the stuff I'm seeing on the outside, like that's not what I'm seeing like in my surroundings. So I definitely understand that for sure.
Yeah, like growing up in the hood, like I've always spoke proper. I've always spoke proper, and people talk about this all the time. Chance the Rapper and all these people, they talk about, I mean, not Chance the Rapper, what's his name? Logic. He would be like,
okay.
oh, I spoke proper, talk white, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I would get like made fun of about that, you know? And I didn't know how to really code switch as a child, but I did pick it up. But it just never sat well with me to mispronounce things. You know, I've always had a acclamation, or I've always been inept to language, you know? So it was rough growing up, you know, because I was actually reading the books, and I actually got really good grades throughout, you know, my childhood.
Which is dope.
I thought so. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, but, you know, being surrounded by so many low vibrations, you know, it's hard to find your people. You know, I had a couple best friends back then. And I had some real good best friends that I'm still friends till this day with. It's very few of my friends that I'm not still friends with till this day. I'm a person that really takes care of his relationships and all of my nice things. So I consider my nice things to be anything from my dog, like I was explaining, he's 18 years old now. My friendships, you know, like pieces of clothing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I keep my things nice. So with that being said, I've got influence from some really good people throughout my life that I've always held dear to me, you know. All of my friends I've been friends with now more than 15 years.
That's
So
not too many people can say that they got relationships that have lasted that long outside of like family.
yeah, actually, I'm surprised because I feel like, you know, how can you consider people friends if you don't really truly? They say you don't really know somebody until you live with them or until you travel with them, you know?
Most definitely, that's when you get the full experience of that person.
Right.
For lack of better words, you really get to see like the ins and outs of that person. Pause. Like you no Diddy.
Oh, yikes.
But yeah, that's definitely true. It's just a different feeling. Like, it's one thing, know somebody just from being out, oh, we're good friends, maybe even get food here and there, chill, smoke or whatever, drink. But once, like, you wake up, they wake up, y'all getting your shit together, going about your day together, it's like a whole different experience.
All right. So I do want to further elaborate, too, and let people know, if y'all ever noticed my face is like not symmetrical, it's because I was born with a cleft lip. Sometimes people look at me, they can't tell, they be like, something's off, you know, like they be like, that nigga mustache crooked, you know what I'm saying? And it's because I was born with the cleft lip palate. And so yeah, I just want to let everybody know, like, try not to stare at my face too hard. Like, I know I look weird, you know. So
that's funny. So you point out your clothing, obviously, as you may be able to tell by the camo, that's a bathing ape.
A bathing ape.
And that just kind of goes back to Japan and how and cultured you are. In lukewarm water, a bathing ape in lukewarm water, the proper full name or whatnot. But have you always been into Japan culture, or did that come when you met your first, like, not role model, what did you call her?
Mentor. So yeah, I've actually always been into anime. I remember the first anime I ever watched was Sailor Moon with my eldest younger sister. We used to I used to put on a wig with her. We would watch Sailor Moon, you know, and then we would also watch Kirby. Kirby had a show.
Oh, Kirby had a show.
Yeah.
Of course he did. That makes sense.
Yes. Those are some of my first exposures to Japanese culture and anime. I also used to really like Ronin Warriors. You ever heard of it? They would wear these outfits, they would wear these samurai outfits, and like the main character, his was like fire element, and then there was water and so on and so forth. And so like, it was just like, the cliche battle anime, but what really like drove me to love that one is when the main character got thrown into a volcano while wearing his armor, and his armor absorbed like the heat. It's so fire, dog. You got to look into it. Ronin Warriors, very
because I've
old.
definitely heard of Ronin, but obviously that's just like the warriors, the samurais, right? That's where that.
Yeah, right.
That's where that's from. So.
Ronin. So Ronin means Ronin. It comes from that means 6 people. So I think that
it's like a squad.
Yeah, but I think that Ronin might have to do with like some Japanese folklore about like six samurai. I believe so.
Okay. So it's like some folklore about a story of these 6 dudes just like terrorizing or something like that.
No, they were heroes.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it was fire, bro. You really should look. I mean, but then again, I don't know. You may or may not like it.
No, I mean, shit. I'm always down to check into shit, see how I feel about it and whatnot. So when it comes to how old were you when you were putting on the wigs and watching Kirby with your sister?
Hey, that's the closest thing I've ever done that was sus in my life. Okay,
ain't even nothing wrong with that neither, though.
I got a funny ass story with that, right?
You just showing love to your little sister. You feel me?
I was 9 years old.
I'm sure there's dads with daughters doing the same shit and not saying nothing. You feel me?
And I remember my mom came into work. She came in from work. I ain't hear her come in or come up the stairs and shit, right? So she walked past the room. She see me and my sister in there watching Sailor Moon. I got the wig on. And like I seen my mom, she just walked past the shit, and then I just felt like in shame. I was just like, and then I just ran after my mom. I was like, "Mom, I'm not gay. I'm not gay." And then she was like, "Keegan, I know you're not gay. What the fuck?"
You said you was 9?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, but growing up in the hood, man, I just I was always exposed to a lot of low vibrational shit. So I never wanted to be everything everybody else was, I always wanted to be like, be myself, be into what I like. So, I thought I was just being myself, but come to find out, there's a whole entire alternative culture in the black community. And people call it weeb or whatever, however people want to describe it, but just being really into what I like, I found a category that, fits for me. And so ever since then, I just been myself, I loved it, I liked it. But then it was like around the age of 14. So there used to be this show called The Swan. It was on ABC. And my mom told me never to talk about this again, but I'm gonna talk about it today. And my mom, she flew out to Hollywood. She was gone for about 8 months. And she was going through this, so The Swan is a beauty pageant. Okay, where they take like ugly ducklings and they transform them and then they put them through a beauty pageant. It was hella fucked up. Something they would get canceled. They wouldn't even be on the air today with the sensitivity levels, right? But my mom went on that show and she had very bare minimum work done on her. And she was the only black woman on The Swan. She didn't make it through to the entire the entirety to be the Swan. But in her absence though, my father was working a lot. And so I had to go to and from school on my own. And so I would get into a lot of fucking shit, you know what I'm saying? And so, I had to learn how to defend myself. But I didn't learn to defend myself my own. My father actually taught me how to fight. He would take me to, how the elementary schools got those tracks?
Yeah.
He would take me to the track after he got off of work because he saw me getting bullied one time. He made me fight my first bully, man.
That's ill.
It was actually an experience I'm glad I have.
Yeah, that's you got to do that, man. You got to learn how to stand up for yourself and not just like allow people to have their way with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was in the 7th grade.
And make you feel lesser than.
Right. I was in the 7th grade, and I love women. I've always loved girls. I like being around them, talking to them. Always like intrigued with women, right? So I was in the 7th grade. I used to have this crush on this girl named Robin. And so I was walking with Robin after school one day, and we was just talking, chatting. We was on Shaw, the road leads from Euclid down to Hayden and shit. And so, Woodward, or whatever it was. So we walk in, and then this big ass nigga, he was like, man, it's crazy. We was all in the 7th grade, but this nigga is named Tony. Tony was a big ass nigga. This nigga had muscles. He was wearing wife beaters. He was already bald. This nigga was fucking threat, right? And this nigga Tony came up, he saw me hanging out with Robin, walking with her, and he like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bully me and shit, like, get on out of here. So at that very moment that, he had did that, I look over and I see my stepfather in the pickup truck looking dead at us. So I hop in the whip with him. And then, I try to just like ignore it, hope he didn't see it and shit. So he goes, what was that? I'm like, sorry, hold on, I gotta fix my shit. You ain't gonna tell me my shit was fucked up, bro?
I didn't want to interrupt you, man.
So my stepfather goes, he's like, what was that? And so I'm like, oh, nothing. He's like, who was that over there? I was like, oh, that's just Tony. I remember it like a couple of days ago. So he was like, oh, okay. So he was like, Tony picking on you? I ain't say nothing. So he was like, get out the car. I was like, fuck, man. My heart started racing. Heart started racing hard as fuck. And so I'm out of the car. He walk up to Tony. He like, hey, you bully. Come over here right now. I saw that, what you did to my son. He's like, fight my son right now. Bruh, I had a Mr. Krabs meme. I'm like, this bitch.
I don't know, what you talking about?
Like, God, why you gotta do this to me, man? He just threw me into the fire, man. And so, Tony look at me, he look at my dad, he look at me, he like, Keegan, you don't wanna fight me, man. And he was right, I didn't wanna fight him. But my dad insisted, so I take off my book bag or whatever, and the abandoned house that was there is no longer there. But man, we immediately like lock up, and all the kids, I swear they wasn't nowhere around, but they came around when they saw us fighting, and everybody
came out the bushes.
Yeah, so all I hear is beat his ass, Tony, beat his ass. Everybody advocating for me to get my ass beat.
That's cold.
Cold as fuck, bro. I was so young. And then like I'm just like overwhelmed by this nigga Tony's strength. He got me pushed up against the abandoned house. He talking down to me like, Keegan, you don't want to fight me. I'm like, beat your ass, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, just talking all this shit. And then I heard my dad's voice though in the background out of the midst of everybody. He's like, Keegan, do what I taught you. Do what I told you. He like, aim for the balls. I ain't do that though. He was like, aim for the balls. He was like, uppercut. He's like, headbutt. And then like the headbutt kicked in. So I had a Naruto moment. And I was like, damn, headbutt this nigga hard as hell. This nigga immediately let go of me, grabbed his face. Tony started watering up in the eyes. And then he like holding his face. He look at me, he look at my dad, and then he go, you got a daddy? I got a daddy too. This nigga ran home to go get his daddy. Oh,
so he was a pussy there.
That shit was crazy, yeah, but you know what?
The grown man ain't do nothing, but then you got in a fight and you got hurt, you want to go home running crying.
Right.
And I got to be the 7th grade Debo.
No, he was definitely the 7th grade Debo, bro. That shit was crazy. But after that, I ain't never have no problems with Tony again. That nigga dapped me up at the Windermere station every time. That shit was...
Just get that mutual respect.
Yeah, and that was like life-changing.
I'm sure it was. Cause who knows, you might have just started putting up with all that shit, just getting walked over for the rest of your life, you know what I mean? Just allowing people just to talk to you any kind of way, just like pick on you or whatever.
Precisely. So after that, they put me into wrestling. So I wrestled for Heritage Middle School and Shaw High School for 2 years. Well, it was 4 years in totality. And that taught me a lot of, discipline, you know. And
Yeah, I feel like that's sports in general, man. I definitely advocate for every kid to at least try it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm definitely putting my kids through all types of cool ass disciplines, man. Like I was talking to my girl already, like our child gonna be an ice skater, sushi chef. They gonna be snowboarding. They gonna be learning like 3 different languages and shit. We probably gonna do some homeschooling and shit. You know, our child gonna be fire. You know.
Hell yeah, that's ill. You guys are a great couple for sure.
Thank
And
you.
then you mentioned the sushi. When did you get? Well, for those that don't know, Keegan has his own catering. What would you call it? How would you describe it?
So, so, how would
And
I
do you have a
describe it?
name for it?
What for? Is sushi sweets?
No, I'm talking about not even the dessert side. I'm talking about when you, like when I seen you at the party or whatever, and you were doing the nigiri and you were just doing that. Do you have like a name for that? Like,
Oh well, yeah, that's all encompassed in sushi sweets.
oh, okay.
So sushi
Got
sweets
you.
makes real sushi, and we make ice cream sandwiches, cookie dough, and our newest rendition, which is nere kiri wagashi, which translates to Japanese traditional snacks. So, you know, we do a real sushi and play sushi for children. You know, Sushi Sweets was developed as a well, let me be entirely honest. You know, I got 2 different stories I tell people of how Sushi Sweets came to be. The true story is in 2020. Actually, it was 2019. The end of 2019. It's back and forth from Japan. Blah blah blah. But I was working at Coventry Food Market and Fine Wine. I was in there reading a book about chess and the power of the king. And this very mysterious man approached me. And he was like, you know, he thought I was like, I don't know what he thought, but he was like, yo, why you back here working for Arabs, man? He like, yo, why you back here being a slave to the Arab man? I was like, I'm not, you know. He's
I
like,
needed a job.
right, I need a job, right? So he like, man, you a smart kid, I could tell. You just like me. Like, this how he talk. Like, the nigga's name, I'm gonna say his name was Cyrus. This was the second mentor I ever had. So, Cyrus is crazy ass nigga, genius. Real genius, smartest person I ever met other than myself. And anyway, he's like, yeah, man, you should be running a business. You got to start a business. You young, this and the other. And he was telling me about his business, how he owned a business, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going to air it all out right now. I ain't got to tell this story much. So he's like, yeah, you know, you should work with me and my business and bring it up. You know what I'm saying? You just need investment capital, blah, blah, blah. Luckily for me, I had investment capital at the time. So 2019 to 2020, I invested like several bands, a lot of fucking money into this storefront for his business, which is called Happy Bees. Now, Happy Bees was an ice cream shop already, which was now introducing alcoholic ice cream into the mix. So where Heart and Soul used to be, 1787 Coventry Road, next door used to be a place called Blush. So at Blush is where we actually, after they moved out, we renovated the spot and turned it into Happy Bees, okay? So working with him, I learned everything from contract law, how to build a business from scratch, you know. I learned how to renovate a space, how to hire contractors the correct way, how to actually get blueprints made and how to get them approved by the city. And and the next thing I was learning from Cyrus was how to was product placement and markets. So my job was to get the alcoholic ice cream placed into Dave's, Whole Foods, Mark's, all the grocery stores. But the problem was I didn't really know what I was doing during that part. And so he would tell me like, yeah, man, get your female friends, This is what he say. He be like, get your female friends and pimp them. He be like, you either a pimp or you a hoe in business. And he was right, but you know, he was a
You
bit
can put
more
it a different way, but it's
right.
for sure accurate.
Right. And so I was like, all right, I'll get my female friends to go into the markets and sell the ice cream, you know, so that we could get, you know, product placement, blah, blah, blah. And so like 2020 hit, the pandemic hit, and shit just wasn't really going, right? So it was crazy as fuck, bro. Like shit wasn't going. So he's like, all right, we're gonna maneuver a different way. We're gonna start creating our own products to put into our ice cream shop, and we're gonna sell them. So that's when I'm like, all right, boom, what can I do, man? I used to have this journal where I would like brainstorm and imagine, you know, all types of ice cream creations and shit, right? And so then that's when like I drew up some shit, and one of the first things I made was actually a chocolate pasta spaghetti. And it was an entire dessert. Pasta was made out of chocolate, and you know, it was just fire as fuck. It had strawberries, chocolate sauce. The meatballs was I forgot what I made the meatballs out. It's all in the sketchbook, but that was a no-go for him. And so then the next thing was Sushi Sweets, which is the ice cream cookie dough in the image of sushi. I made that. I sent that to him. He like, now this is power. This is what we running with. We doing this, and the other. But then, I don't know what happened. It was all during the pandemic. His mom died. And so, nigga had like some type of chemical response to that in his brain. The nigga was already borderline genius, smart, crazy as fuck. But that shit sent him overboard. And he showed up to my apartment. Like first he called me in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning, screaming and yelling at me, like I'm talking about fucking firing my ass up. I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga's crazy. This nigga said, yo, you know, bet, I'm about to come kill your ass. I was like, what the fuck? Look.
So that switch definitely flipped.
Bruh, for really. Bruh. Next thing you know, I hear this nigga car pulling up in front of my apartment, bruh. He ain't know I was the type to keep a pole. He ain't know, you know, people don't expect that type of shit from me. So he pull up, he got this 1911 Colt 45 in his hand and shit, walking up to my apartment. So I draw.
You peeping this out the window?
I came to the front porch.
Oh, word.
Cause I ain't about to let nobody yell at me and bitch me out. My wife laying right next to me and shit. You ain't
talking about they gonna kill you.
And then you ain't gonna yell at me like I know you think that I'm like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might have an outlook on me, but you really don't know.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So I come outside, I had the Smith & Wesson 40. And so we have a standoff I'm on the porch, I got the high ground, this nigga's Anakin. I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on? We could just talk about this. Nigga saw I had a gun, he backed off. We had to dissolve the fucking business, but he thought that I was stupid enough, because I invested all them thousands, right? He thought I was so stupid that I was just gonna like not know what to do next legally. He thought he could throw me into a nigga moment and therefore, you know, just take everything that I had invested. I invested equipment, money, time, effort, labor, you know. I invested a lot into this business. So he believed that he could just run off on my ass, you know what I'm saying? Play me like a fool and shit. So I had some friends. I had a friend who is a lawyer. And so I told him, like, man, I had some good ass weed back there, right? It's prickly pear. It was the real prickly pear.
Okay.
It was by something Turtle Beach. No, that's the headset.
Game
That's the headset. It was like something Turtle though, and they had prickly pear to strain. Man, it was $400 an ounce back then. I traded him that shit. He wrote up a few arbitration letters. He wrote up some shit. I sent that shit certified mail to his business, and then I handed a copy to him.
You served his ass.
I served his ass. And my girl was with me too, so she was a witness.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was going through all the legal stipulations to actually go through arbitration to dissolve the business. Mm-hmm. Because I was...
So everybody get what they put in back.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I was 40% owner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he was so bewildered at the fact that I had taken the steps to actually do business the correct way. The nigga, he just packed up his entire apartment, got little on me. And then like a couple months later, on some crazy ass shit, nigga pulled up on me again with my girl. I'm walking to CVS with my girl. I'm in Walgreens. He pulled up with the strap on me like get in the car. Get in the car. Like, on some crazy shit. I was like, bro, get out the car.
Yeah, you not about to kidnap me. Like, what do you think is happening right now, dog?
Bro, the shit was so crazy. I was strapped that day too, thankfully, you know. But then he had his wife file a restraining order on me. I couldn't go near my own business, our own business and shit. Nigga packed up and got ghost though. You know, Happy Bees was open for like a year and a half after that. Blah, blah, blah. But my point in saying all of that is to say that I developed Sushi Sweets during that very trivial time. And I erected it as a business in 2020 as a separate entity so I could just, you know, go further with it, you know. So we've been doing the thing ever since. And in 2022, I was searching for this ice cream cart that you saw online for 2 years. I couldn't find one, you know, at a decent price. And this man was he was willing to trade for a motorcycle, a type of gun I didn't have. He was willing to...
A motorcycle?
Yeah.
Isn't it just like a bicycle?
I mean, kind of, but it's an investment. It's an asset.
No, 1,000,000%. But damn, you want a whole ass real vehicle?
Yeah, man.
A motorized vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you find some crazy ass, you know, things on Craigslist. People got some crazy offers, you know.
Yeah.
So I drove out like past Toledo for that, and I paid $1,400 cash for that mug, bruh. And I got the U-Haul, brought that bitch back, repainted it, glossed that mug up, you know. Changed the tire on it, changed the chain on it, you know, and I brought that mug out, man, and, you know, so we've been rocking Sushi Sweets ever since.
That's what's up. So you launched Sushi Sweets with that cart? With that?
No, that was in 2022 that the cart came.
Gotcha.
We launched Sushi Sweets in 2020 when I was learning sushi from my girlfriend during 2020. And cause she's been a sushi chef longer than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Word.
she been a sushi chef. She got like 9 years experience.
Oh shit.
She done worked at Dynamite, fucking Marble Room. You know, she got like some real skill.
That's hard.
And so I learned from her. We worked at Domo Yakitori and Sushi. It was up in Shaker, if you ever heard of it.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so Sushi Sweets is made with all the same techniques that actual sushi is made. So I think that's what makes it a bit more unique than some sushi gummies, you know.
Yeah.
No shade.
Yeah. Sound like a shot. That's some.
No, it is a shot.
Some
though.
real shit.
It is low-key a shot. Sushi gummies. Fuck out of here.
That is dope though. Yeah, and I feel like I didn't even know that detail within the dessert, but I mean, it was just something about it that just like instantly captivated. So it's like just those little details and those techniques put into it, like it speaks volumes, and you can kind of like feel it in a way.
Cool.
Like the fuck is like this is a dessert? Like this, like you sure, or is it like just frozen sushi? Like
Right.
Like it like gives off the real deal thing, and then you just taste it, and then your mind is like, what the fuck did I just eat? Like
Cool.
Like, hold on now. Like,
I got a video.
hold on, let me take this other bite.
In.
Like,
I got a video of 100 Bands in. He was like, yeah, I don't eat sushi. And he was like, it was ice cream. I was like, he was skeptical. Nigga took a bite of that bitch. You see his whole face change.
yeah, that's fire. And I feel like,
Thank you.
I feel like people that don't eat like sushi and stuff, it's just kind of like a stubbornness to it in a way. But I feel like with this dessert, like you can introduce it to kids at a younger age, you know what I mean? And then they might grow into like actually trying to be more willing to try the real thing. Because a lot of people just say they don't like something without even trying it. Like I used to be like that 1,000,000%. I was the most pickiest dude ever. And then one day I just finally said like, fuck it. Like I was living with my girlfriend at the time in Boston or whatever, and she just started introducing me to all these different kind of foods. And I'm like, okay, that's what you want to eat. Like that's what we eating tonight. I'm not about to go. I'm not about to starve. Like,
Right.
and I don't just want to shut your shit down to eat some shit that been eating all week or some shit like that. So,
Well, let's hear
like,
about your first sushi experience.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
That's fair. I can't remember mine either.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you like when I first started like it or anything like that. To be honest, it would have had to be sometime around between 2016, 2017, around that to when I started to like really open up and like fuck with that kind of stuff. But who knows? It might could even be a lot earlier. But I can't even think of being at a place where I would have even tried that. Like I went to hibachi spots here and there, but like ain't no way I was ordering the sushi. I was just ordering the plates. You know what I mean? Like I would
Right.
eat shrimp at the most.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it would have definitely had to be that around that time in Boston. Probably just took like a bite of hers or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just like fell in love with it type shit.
I think most people reject sushi because they hear that it's raw. And
Yeah,
you know,
we're so like, oh, things had got to be cooked.
yeah, and I think that most people believe that there's blood involved in raw fish, but as a fact that most people may not know is that there is actually no blood in the sarcomeres, that's the muscles of a fish. That's just how they're built.
Yeah, they're a different kind of creature in general. Like they live underwater,
Right.
like so, you can't really have those same outlooks on things as like a land animal or anything like that. Two completely different things.
And I think that like what drives me to love sushi so much is that every fish is like a different meat.
Yeah,
It's like different texture, different flavor. It's actually outstanding. It's really cool. In my opinion, fish is like one of the most clear and evident antidotes that there is a creator.
why do you say that?
Well, because fish, they have all these different dynamics to them, and each species is just so. Each species is just so unique in its own way. So, I mean, if you really look at fish and then look at birds also, they've got like so many different, how should I say, social behaviors that show like a different type of intelligence that people take for granted or that people like, don't even like care to explore or realize.
I mean, and so do humans. You know what I mean? People just think because you got 2 arms, 2 legs, you got to go to work. Like, oh, we're just humans. Like, no, there's like different species of you. Like, what the fuck? Like the way people's brains are programmed more so, but we also look different. We also are built different. Like, just in general, just the whole mind, body, and soul. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't really look into that. Like we would say, oh, a tuna and a carpfish. Like those are 2 completely different things. Like humans kind of have that too. Like,
Precisely, as a matter of fact.
it's just that the way we look isn't that difference. The difference is like in within, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas with animals, we more so look at that as from the outside. But I'm sure they have inside and outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I study anthropology actually. So that's the study of humans,
Okay.
their biology. I study physical anthropology. And so when you say that like humans, there are different species of humans, I thoroughly believe in that. From the dietary plasticity of different species of humans. And there's one species of human, right? Everybody comes from,
Right.
Homo sapien, sapien, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, and, you know what I'm saying, the Denisovans and all that. But like, if you really take a look at like the history of human beings and like, why do Asians have epicantic folds? That's the little squinty eyes.
I
That's
got
the
you.
scientific name for it. It's epicantic fold. Why do they have that? Oh, because, their ancestors of Homo erectus, made it with, Denisovans, and that's why they're commonly short. Or, when it comes to why do black people in Africa, why are they so susceptible to sickle cell and malaria? You know what I'm saying? It's because of a genetic, mutation, things like that. Like, it becomes really fascinating to discover, human beings on a micro level, a macro level,
To actually understand things.
Right.
Instead of just like, oh, that's just what it is. Like,
Yeah,
why is
like-
it like that? Why are people?
Yeah, right. Humans are real fascinating to me. I always wanted to know, a lot about all humans, And so I've always been super social. I never had like a category of people I thought I belonged to. I've always wanted to make friends with all types of people. I never really had any like racist feelings or prejudice toward anybody,
Yeah, that stuff is taught. You're not born like, nah.
Right. Although I did have this interaction, I'll never forget it. I was like in kindergarten. And no, I was like, in kindergarten or something. But I wasn't at school. My father had took me to Fitworks. And I can't believe I'm about to tell the story. And Fitworks had a daycare. Okay, so I was in the daycare and I was inside the playhouse and they had a TV, they had a babysitter in there. It was a cool little area. And so I'm inside the daycare little playhouse or whatever, and I'm in this kitchen area, and then this like little blonde white girl came and she was like trying to bully me and be mean to me, and I was like, move, white girl. And then she was like, she was like, you move, black boy. And I was like, no, you did. That was like my first reciprocity and like some type of prejudice shit. That was just like, ever since it was like, I didn't know how to feel because.
In both ways though.
Yeah, right, in both ways, right.
Where did that come from? Like,
I don't know. I guess I felt entitled. I guess I felt some type of like, entitled to this little kitchen area inside the playhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, I was here first. Like,
right. And so I didn't know how to feel because the babysitter that was watching us, I really liked her. She was a white woman, very gorgeous. And then like Christina Aguilera was also playing on the fucking screen, and I liked her song with her. So, I didn't know how to feel. I was just like, I don't know, man. But yeah, man, humans are fucking fire. I really like humans that are, that have like, that think outside the box. That be like, that accept everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like them type of humans, not the superficial
100%.
people,
Yeah.
Like the cool kids of every grade, of every school that I've ever been to, of like, the cool kids, the street niggas, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, like I mingle with all of them, right?
Yeah.
I mingle with all of them, but like the ones trying to be cool, I notice are always the most difficult people to really,
Yeah, because they're not truly being themselves.
Nah.
At the end of the day. Nobody's truly like that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to choose to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Like,
just
what
a
is this?
natural way to act.
Yeah, it's like some
Maybe for
fraternity
a
shit,
small
right?
percent, it might be like that.
Yeah, there
but I
are
highly
naturally
doubt it.
cool people, right? They just be like,
Yeah.
real laid back, cool. They was born with some shades on, them type of people,
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, but speaking about people and stuff, obviously you said you were watching anime at 9 years old. What made you like fully want to dive into Japan, go there, learn their language, embody that, become or start your path on becoming a sushi master of sorts? Like, what made you want to fully embody that, and what was that like when you started learning their language, traveling out there? What were those experiences like?
Well, as I said, it started when I was a kid. I call him my father. I call him my dad, but he's actually my stepfather. He used to get these magazines in, like these catalogs where you could order like ninja gear. throwing stars, size, shit like that. So when I was younger, you know, if I did well at school, you know, he would order something and he would teach me how to use it because he was acclimated in karate.
Okay.
And so he also put me in karate. So it's like, honestly, bro, like, really, I kind of grew up, like, in this alternative culture.
Yeah, that was already part of you.
Yeah, so it's like, there was never really, I mean, there was some distinction, like a distinctive time where I could be like, yeah, I really, like, this did it for me. Like, my mentor, her being like, yo, I lived in Kyoto and come meet me there in 2018. Like, yeah, that was, like, very pivotal, you know, toward my career and, like, you know, my life. But, you know, I just always liked it because, like, I think it was Inuyasha that did it for me, you know, and the feudal era of, you know, Inuyasha, you know, watching that shit and wanting to be like Sesomaru, you know, Sesomaru. That was like, you know, like wanting to be like Goku, you know, wanting to, you know, it was like some of my role model is the Ice Cream Skate Team DVD.
Oh, shit.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Ice Cream Skate Team Volume 1, pussies. That was my shit, bro. You remember that shit?
I remember the time. I was mad young. And being from Lorraine, like,
So
there's really no skate culture, even though Chad Muska from there, which is hard, but there was really no skate. There's no skate shop. The closest skate shop was probably West Side Skates.
Yeah.
And just driving to Elyria, it's only 15 minutes away to go to that closest mall. Parents is acting like that's like the furthest thing ever. And
Right.
even taking those drives, it felt like forever.
Right.
And it was only 15 minutes.
Damn, bro.
So like never really left like the general vicinity like growing up or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like that world wasn't even like I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That was the closest. That's the closest I
That
could
shit
get
was
to
my
that.
shit too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only way to get a skateboard, you might go to Walmart and get like those little mini ones that might come on a backpack. Like that's the only type of skateboard I would see. You feel
Man,
me?
I fucked my wrist up on that skateboard from Walmart, bro. Like, Ice Cream Skate Team DVD, man, it inspired me so much. I was like building little ramps and shit in my.
That's hard. So what about that then? Like what was in it?
Well, you know,
Describe
Pharrell
it.
Williams, man, you know.
Were they
Pharrell-
skating in Japan or
Bruh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Pharrell Williams.
were
you'd
the
be like,
Teriyaki Boys out at this time too yet? So that was like the soundtrack? Okay, I got you. Yeah,
Precisely.
Break it down.
Bruh. What Pharrell say? He'd be like, all right, man. There's so many Pharrell quotes that really stuck with me in my teenage years that actually, like, molded my mentality. So it was this one quote, like Pharrell said in the DVD. He's like, from TK to Jacob, so only young, shitting on niggas. That's it. He said, doesn't make me better than anybody else. I just care. Do you? Okay. And then he said later on, he goes, what'd he say? He said, you can do it too. And so he was saying, you can also build a brand. You could have it revolve around your likes and your hobbies, and then you could sell it. He was saying the exact same shit. And then he said another thing. He was like, so I used to, like, you know, because I was like living in the hood too, so there was like this alternative culture, and I was still involved in like, you know, hood antics, you know, guns and knives, ghetto shit. And so what really like put the nail in the coffin on that mentality for me is when my cousin went to prison for like 8 years. But secondly, when Pharrell said in the DVD, he said, I'm not running around with guns. I'm not running around with knives. He said, I'm in the studio making music. He said, I'm not shooting shit unless it's a music video on big ass jets with nobody else on it but me and my niggas. Yes, sir. That's what he said. I was like, that shit snapped to me. I was like, I need to be making shit so I can get on big ass fucking jets. But then when they went to Tokyo and they was skating in Tokyo, man, that shit blew my mind, bro. That was like the dream. That's like, I always been a better roller skater than a skateboarder, but like, I wanted to do that. You know, I knew I wanted to experience being in Shibuya, you know, skating and fucking just getting fucking ratchet and, you know, seeing colorful shit, like, you know, like.
Hell yeah.
So that's what did it.
That's hard. Damn, that's ill, man.
Ice Cream Skate Team DVD, man, you gotta see it in its entirety, please, bro.
And even just hearing like what he was saying or whatever, like he wanted products like you feel me, to come from that. That was his purpose.
I thoroughly believe
of that. So that's hard to like even like grasp that.
Right.
Like, he's trying to raise,
Thank you, man.
He's trying to raise like a whole generation of people to believe in themselves and to really take their lives in their own hands. So that's ill that you watched that and that what came out of from his brain, through his mouth, through your TV, like helped lead you on your path too. That's just ill. That's what's like my favorite part about people. You know what I mean? That's like the whole thing. What really does this? You feel me? You really going after your shit and you standing on it. You're working on it. That's like staying on your path and really doing something with yourself. You know what I mean? Whether it be work your 9 to 5, whether it be for real. You feel me?
Fact.
Like as long as like you're doing what you need to do, or what you know you need to be doing.
Right.
Because some people are doing stuff just to do it, just to like whatever, like not really getting the full, like going full throttle in life. You know what I mean? Which is sad. So it takes somebody to make Ice Cream Part 1 to inspire a Keegan. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's ill to see
Facts.
that like connection and how that works. And that is how the world works. You know what I mean? You gotta actually enact on your thoughts. You gotta say what you really wanna say to make a change, you know what I mean? And to change things.
Agree. And shouts to really does this for the recognition of not just me, but like people just like me or people not like me at all that are fully immersed in their skills and their career path. That's really cool. I think that's an ability that, you know, not everybody has is to recognize true talent or to be able to recognize true determination and to give those people a voice or a platform. I think that's that's really cool.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, like, are you into numerology or anything like that?
No, sir.
So I've always been like this way in my life or whatever, just like loving people, being around people, being like, yo, like that's hard, like just like showing love in general. So I like looked into that or whatever, and I guess I'm like a master number 22, where essentially it's like to help people build their shit up and to like kind of like do shit like that. So it was crazy when I like did the math or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
That is
like
crazy.
I'm an A&R in life. You feel me?
That's fire.
And I've always been that way. So it was ill to kind of see shit like that. Like a lot of people be like, when it comes to like astrology and stuff, like, oh, that kind of stuff could relate to everybody, which is true in a way. But I feel like with the number shit, it's like a lot more specific. And I mean, shit, everything is math. You feel me? Like everything is code. So I guess when you look at it like that, like when you include the numbers, not just because the numbers make the stars, you feel me? The numbers make the planets, all these calculations and whatnot. But it was just ill to kind of like read that and be like, oh, okay. And it made me feel good because it's like, you a master number.
Right.
Oh, okay, there's only a few of them. Like,
No, for real though.
so it's like, okay, that's hard.
Like I don't really subscribe to like horoscopes and numerology, but I do recognize patterns very easily.
Yeah.
And there's definitely something to it.
That's my thing too. I'm not full throttle into nothing. But like I could see like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Even like, so the other day I was going through my storage and I found like this picture from like when I was born. It says my name and it says like the definition of my name, traits of that name. And it's like, this is really me.
What's your name mean?
Antonio. Oh, my name mean? Like I know some people don't really know like my full like actual first name. But honestly, bro, my memory's so bad, and I just read it the other day. I think I took a picture. Let me see. But when I was reading this, I'm like, what the hell? Like, even this, like, how was that? Like, they just chose a name.
It's so accurate.
Yeah, and it actually
Like, you gotta
turned out
wonder,
to
right?
be me and whatnot. So
Yeah, like, do you, like, was it destined? Or, like, did you, like, kind of...
into that.
Like, grow into that because, like, you know...
Or because they chose it, like, them just speaking about it, thinking about it,
Right.
it led...
Did they want their child to be
like truly,
that
exactly, truly
characteristic?
manifestation in its fullest form.
Right. Because I don't think that my mama would have named... Well, actually, Keegan is not my real name. Although people believe that it is.
Would you like to say your name?
For a long time, my real name was a family secret.
Okay.
I was born as Kareem, Kal-El. My mom changed my name when I was 3 years old. And my name Keegan actually means little fire.
That's fire.
And then she gave me the middle name, which is Chandler, which is a candle maker. So there's candle and then there's chandelier. So then the name Chandler came from a mix between candle and chandelier, because chandeliers used to only hold candles. So candle makers are chandlers.
Okay.
And so when I go to Japan, I tell people my name is Shoen. They're like, you know, Shoen this, you know. Onamae Shoen this, you know. And Shoen is a literal translation of little fire. So I keep that name consistent.
That's it though. So I guess Antonio, this what I'm finding online, like the picture I took is most likely on this phone. I don't want to end the shit just to get that, you feel me? But it says praiseworthy. Like I think it said that too, but it said a lot more. It was like more in depth of shit, like the traits and whatnot. But like that stuff like that is powerful, man.
Yeah.
The words you say, the words you attach to things, like they really mean something. It's not just to tag something, you feel me? Like it's not just spray paint on a wall. Like even though that is meaningful too, you know what I mean?
Oh, I used to get up. Like spray paint. Yeah, I used to do that shit.
Just tagging shit.
Yeah, I used to write Lego and legs. I don't know why.
That was just like,
that was my
I can make this look the coolest.
Yeah, that was my shit.
My L's is hard.
Like, I was getting up, man, and I met some cool ass niggas through that too. Like, you know, I don't even know their real names, but I know what they write. Urkel, All Fuck. I done met, like, you know, my nigga Ark. That's my nigga, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's like something that's kind of going away with like these newer generations, because I feel like that was a huge influence. Like you got to think, started hip hop, graffiti, breakdancing, and rapping.
Right.
That's like what embodied shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just smaller, and you know what I mean? Because I'll definitely like driving out to my shop, see some tags here and there on like buildings and shit. So it's around, but I feel like there's no highlight on it. Like,
but they don't be doing the art like it's a whole art.
1,000,000%
craft, you know, like it's a whole category of art, and like.
Well, I shouldn't even say that, because just recently, I'm sure you've seen this in California, where they tagged that whole building.
Crazy, bro.
So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, man, in Chicago,
it's alive and well.
Shouts to my nigga Coney, and I know a woman that she be getting up, bro, like till this day, and bitch be drawing like raw ass anime characters. She cool as hell, man. So.
Yeah, so part of my words. Anybody that might watch this as a fan of graffiti or does graffiti, because I don't know why I said that. It's definitely not. It's still alive for sure, and it's highlighted. I don't know why I said it wasn't highlighted, because we just seen that. Like they tagged that whole.
That was
shit
crazy,
up.
bruh.
Like they killed that.
When I saw that, I really thought Los Angeles was in GTA. Like that was so crazy to me, bruh. I was like, yeah, I ain't been to LA in like 4 years, but I'm definitely not going now. I'm definitely not going now.
Yeah, I do not care for Los Angeles.
He used to be so gassed.
Like I've been there maybe 2-3 times. Like it's cool. The weather's amazing. My food experience weren't the greatest, but people were telling me you just gotta go to the right spots, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's anywhere in the world. You just gotta get pointed in that right direction. But I mean, I would never live there. Not even close. Like, for one, just way too expensive. Two, the laws they pass are just mind blowing. Like,
Bullseye.
it's just like, I'm cool. I love Ohio.
I would live in LA, but
I would live anywhere, but would I
them gun
want
laws
to?
though,
Yeah, that's out.
I can't, bro. I gotta be able to bear arms wherever I live.
Yeah, got to be able to protect yourself against somebody that could use that same weapon against you.
Exactly. And,
Like whether they obtain it legally or illegally, if it's out and about in the world, I would like to be able to have one as well.
yeah,
Like,
That's why I love
you take all the
Ohio.
guns from like just normal folk, then you still have the criminals that can acquire them illegally.
and
You know
then,
what I mean?
but the criminals aren't what I'm most concerned with. My real concern is tyranny. You know,
Well, that too. But at the end of the day, if they really want to roll tanks down the street, what you gonna do with that? Who's
mean,
got rocket launchers in the house?
history
Very
pro-
few people. You know what I mean?
history proves that tanks are not actually.
I mean, they slow. If you set up the right traps and you know what I mean, you could definitely. But I'm saying if they really want to take shit over, like, it's a tough fight. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But it's like that is why that's in the Constitution because of that. They
Facts.
just took some shit over, and they're like,
Man,
we know it's possible. So like,
man.
we just stole this whole shit from them.
Oh, so that's actually a misconception.
Okay, let's
So-
break it down.
Most people believe that American history is exactly how it was taught in the textbooks. Fact of the matter is, I learned from my second mentor, I was telling you about Cyrus, crazy genius nigga, that first off, the Constitution is a contract in which it was actually written by American Aboriginals.
No way.
Actually, way. And so, yes, there were noteworthy signatures on it from Europeans that had joined the the Union. You know, like John Hancock and whoever else signed on to it. You know, but fact of the matter is that most actual clear and concise law in America was actually written by American Aboriginals, the tribes people that came before the Native Americans and that came before the Europeans, because Native Americans are actually a part of I think the second migration of Asians actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Native Americans, although native to America, are not aboriginal to America, and therefore. There's a whole history behind it.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I've tapped
Very serious
in the
information.
smallest of bits, like just watching Billy Carson and 19 Keys and people.
Oh, I hate
people
Billy
like
Carson.
That.
He's such a liar. He mixes the truth with the lie so he can control. I think he's a control opposition, paid and controlled opposition. I'm actually pretty sure of it.
I hate to hear that, man.
It's true. I'm sorry.
I really fuck with just like hearing people talk about just like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was really interested in Billy Carson. I bought his first book about the Emerald Tablets. And, I read it. I did some cross-reference, and that's when I found lies, and that's when I found truth, So,
Okay.
I just, I'm more particular about what I put into my psyche now.
As you should be.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's actually cap. White people didn't just come here like, yo, we got guns, lay everything down. It was actually, there was actually business deals done,
Well, I mean, you kind of got a piece of that, just of the story of Thanksgiving and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, right. But they try to make it seem like it was just like a ceremony, a lot of the holidays, some of the holidays, I should say, that like have deep roots, such as Thanksgiving, Memorial Day. Those things were celebrated before colonialism, and people don't
Wow.
realize that. Yeah.
so those were adopted and adapted.
Well, yeah, there was acclamation of two different cultures, and then they created. So another misconception is that although there were Mesoamerican languages here in America, the the English language that we speak today is actually a mix between those Mesoamerican languages and British English, and such as words like "hey," like when people are like "hey," that's actually a an American Aboriginal word. That's a greeting. Hey. So, it's really fascinating. I hope people do more research about, the true origins of America. And therefore, they will see why things are the way they are now. Like, I could really actually break it down. It's crazy stuff. So,
give a little taste,
like
to allow people to kind of find interest in the subject.
Like, what did I discover or rediscover? I read, you know how people be like, on the internet in the comments, if you see like, you ever seen those videos of like a white man almost shooting a cop because of a traffic stop and shit, and he pulled off on him? Or how like, white people be giving lip to the cops and like the cops don't bother them and shit? And it's because actually they're speaking a language called legalese. So. Oh
yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So English is so. It's so deep. I'm gonna just try to keep it short. What I'm trying to say is that. You've heard of the term doublespeak?
I don't believe so.
Okay, doublespeak is when somebody says something such as, do you understand what I'm saying? And you think I'm asking you, do you comprehend what I'm saying? Even in this speech right now, right?
Right.
But really, depending on the status or the position that a person is speaking from, they're actually saying like, do you stand under my authority, such as a judge? When he says, do you understand? He's saying, do you stand under my authority? And so this is actually a verbal contract that he's initiating with people. And why is this happening? Well, because of something called the Ceste V K or Ceste V Q trust, right? It was an act by Parliament in 1666. Parliament declared everybody in the world as lost at sea, as in a dead entity lost at sea. Why? Because the act of acquiring other people's private property is actually piracy, okay? So when the police tow someone's car, when the judge orders somebody's child going to child protective services, this is all acquisition of assets, right?
Right.
And so this was created based off of people's, their verbal contract, written contracts with the state, right? So it's crazy because here it is, people are giving consent to these contracts by saying, I'm an American citizen, I'm black, I'm Negro, I'm American, I'm a African American, I'm Native American, I'm Latino. These are all actually synonyms in the Black's Law Dictionary and the source that they use for the British Accredited Registrar, which is the bar. These are all synonyms for state property. And so that's why Benny Siegel came out with the movie State Property.
Word.
Because he was being black. Because he was being what do they call it? Civit mortis, which is civilly dead or legally dead. And people that are legally dead can't own property. They don't have any rights. They have privileges. They have no pursuit to longevity in life and pursuit of happiness. So, this all goes back, like, it's crazy, because once you comprehend what's going on, you understand why the police don't shoot or why the police have no authority to move forward in those traffic stops, because those people are actually completely aware of the original contracts that were set into place by, remember when Kanye West was wearing the Confederate flag?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Well, the Confederate flag is actually a symbol that was erected by the four largest tribes in America before it was colonialized. So that's actually our symbol.
That's like an original flag.
Yeah, it has
represent.
nothing to do with racism.
Right.
It has nothing to do with
It was
slavery.
stolen, just like the
Swastika.
swastika. Yeah, that's a
Swastika
Buddhist symbol, right?
It's a Buddhist symbol of the energy of life, or the circle of life in a sense, or something like that, right? So the Confederate flag is a symbol of the original contract between the Shiloh, the people call it Cherokee, but it's actually pronounced Cherokee.
Okay.
And the it's really deep. It's really deep, man. So I just highly implore everybody watching to not get a 23andMe, a DNA test to find out where they're from, because those are actually misnomer, false genetic claims saying that.
Really?
Yeah, they're actually saying that you share gene alleles with people in this region, this region, and this region.
So not saying you are that.
They're not saying you are that.
Oh, how dumb.
So everybody actually needs a genealogy, not a DNA test.
Okay. That is hilarious. They're just out here making people think they're X, Y, or Z, but no, you just...
And because people are getting that, then they're subscribing to that.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to embody this or that. These cultures, those cultures, that's me.
Yeah, so when Raven Simone said, "I'm not black," and everybody started throwing stones at her glass house, well, she was trying to say the exact same thing I'm saying. I'm not black. You can look at me and see I'm not black. I'm orange.
Right.
You're not black. You're yellow.
Yeah.
But then you got like people that try to control the information, right? They be like, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so just like there's COINTELPRO, there's InfoTelPro. People that are controlling the information so that you don't take advantage of your birthrights.
Right. To be able to reach your full potential and get that complete knowledge, see things for what they truly are and whatnot.
Yeah, because honestly, although everything is for sale in America, the actual deeds to America, South America, and Central America are still in the name of the Aboriginal tribes, 12 tribes. Yeah. So there's a man named Noble Drew Ali.
Okay.
So there was like this huge conference where men of the world, great men of renowned power, were claiming because do you know anything about abandonment laws?
I'm not familiar, no.
So what gives the police the right to sell your car if you leave it in their lot over 30 days? It's the abandonment law of America. Abandonment law is actually the same law that allows people to acquire land or abandon homes. People call it squatting, but it's actually adverse possession.
Okay.
So you can actually adverse possess almost anything. Okay. So when colonialism happened, adverse possession, which is one of the oldest rules ever, is finders keepers, and it comes all the way from piracy days. What do pirates do? They acquire assets. They steal people's booty.
Right.
So finders keepers, adverse possession, colonialism. Colonists came over, they found land that was not being occupied, and then they settled. That's okay. That's okay. Everybody does it because, it's adverse. It's nobody's using it. It's yours. But man, I be getting so deep. Sometimes I forget where my point was.
Well, you were just talking about
Noble Drew Ali. My bad.
No, you're good.
Noble Drew Ali.
You can move that stuff if you want to put your arm up there.
So there was this conference, right, where these renowned men were claiming land, like, our family owns this, our family owns that. And so, like, when they had called for the owners of Northern America, Central and Southern America, a man by the name of Noble Drew Ali stood up and he showed that his family, the tribes, still have ownership he claimed the land in the proper names, in the names of the tribes, for all of my people, our people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we are a part of the tribes, right?
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, ever since that conference, it's been in our names, but then that's why they had to get us to subscribe to Black, African American, calling ourselves things like Negro, so that we can never truly get reparations or even the deeds to our own land.
Right.
Oh, right.
That's what I thought was dope about when like Chip was going on that thing, that shit where he was posting like, yo, we're actually this, not that, like, and then you just see people like, oh, you're stupid, oh, what are you even talking about? Well, you're a rapper, like, why are you even talking about this? Like,
Man.
and it's just like, that and that's what's weird about people too. People like to like run away from the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Or like they're just so stuck into like, this is what it is. That's what it is. Like,
Well, you know, it's a psychological,
like
it's a psychological defense mechanism. You know, it's a safe place. What's commonly called cognitive dissonance. You know, if people are threatened in their mentality, what they believe is real, then they very, very like quickly just retreat to what they know, and they hold that dear so that they don't have to relearn, so that they don't.
yeah, don't destroy my whole world.
And for some reason, people are afraid of those types of, refashionings.
Yeah.
But Chip the Rip, man, that nigga always been smart, huh?
Hell yeah.
Like, always been sharp. Hey, man, you know, he's always been a cool, jolly nigga, too. Like, I remember seeing the Slab, and the Firm. You know about the Slab, the Firm?
I don't.
All of them niggas, man, they used to be like, I thought they was gangs when I was younger, you know? But these niggas would come down in these. So Chip the Rip, he come from the Slab E&T, right? Nigga got this. These niggas used to roll around through the hood, all through Cleveland with these old school sitting on stupid ass fucking. Man, these niggas had the candy paint. Them niggas was coming down loud ass speakers. These niggas set the. Like, I don't know if that shit came from the South. I don't know where that shit came from, but them niggas was doing it first in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And from them came like the Firm, like Pugutta and them. All of this shit was so gas, man, damn, bro. But I remember running into Chip when I was younger, as a little boy. That nigga always been a little older than me. But then I ran into him in LA once. And I was like, I just noticed, I think he recognized me too, but I was like, yo, Chip, you know, and he's like, yo, dapped him up. And then that was back when I was doing the artwork. And so I was just telling him like, yeah, I'm just out here visiting, but I'm an artist, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, oh, word, let me see your work. And he was really fucking with it. So he had actually put me on to this art gallery. I forgot what it was called, but it was right there on Melrose.
Oh, wow.
He knew the owner, so the owner was fucking with me, this and the other. He wanted me to, bring my art out. My art was too heavy because it was on mirrors. So I said, I'll make some while I'm in Los Angeles and we can exhibit. So we had this plan, but kind of find out like a month after I met the man, his art museum closed down, his art gallery closed down. So we ain't never get to make it happen, man.
Yeah.
But that was that was my first experience realizing that Chip the Rip was a very, very smart guy, really, really genuine and open, cool guy.
Yeah, I've always heard just positive outlooks. Not positive outlooks, but just positive experiences involving Chip. Like, you never hear anybody say anything negative about the man. So it's dope to hear, like, another story along those lines where it's just like, he's just a good dude.
And then that song, I'm Fitted, though. It used to be my shit with us, little boy, man. I used to have, thank you.
Yeah.
I used to have aspirations, man. Like, I remember when I was like...
What you mean used to have aspirations?
I mean, I had aspirations toward clothing.
Got you.
Because of that song and when I was younger, And because of that song, I got hip to so many brands, dog, like the Red Monkeys. But we was going to the stores on St. Clair that sold the bootlegs. Mm-hmm. So like the red
crushes
monkey
of the
job.
world.
Yeah. And you remember Ibizas?
They're low-key making a comeback right now.
Yeah, they are. They
Doing all
always
those
made
Palace
nice
collabs.
stuff. Oh, really? They're doing a collab with Palace?
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3 collections at this point.
Yeah, Ibiza's still big in Japan, you know. Like, well, I should say common. It's not big. Like, I'm not going to say it's big, but it's common, you know.
Yeah.
You'll see people wearing it, but those brands like that, man, that's just... But always the pinnacle of clothing back when I was coming up was always the motherfucking BBC ice cream. Always, bruh.
It's cool to see their resurgence over the last few years too. Started like carrying them and highlighting them again.
Man, shout out to my nigga Miho Mark. I've been friends with Mark since the 1st grade. And this nigga has actually always been like the most fly nigga in every group that, you know what I'm saying, we would rub shoulders and shit. This nigga had the BBC ice creams, man. I was like trying to get like this nigga. We was both rocking that shit, but this nigga had that nigga was fitted as
He had the
fuck.
other shit.
That nigga was fitted, bruh. I was like, yeah, that's my nigga, bruh.
Shout outs to Miho.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of aspirations and whatnot, let's rewind a little bit. You actually, with Sushi Sweets, were able to get that placed into a major retailer. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so took a while, you know. Just trying to follow the same method that my mentor Cyrus was showing me. Building, he showed me to build this entire dialogue, study it. Don't go in there to the grocery stores with the dialogue. You got to learn it and be able to pitch it yourself from your heart. So I actually rent a ghost kitchen downtown Cleveland, and because I'm a member of this ghost kitchen, they always have these opportunities to, add grants or to pitch to closed off markets. So Meijer, they're like, yo, we want so many local brands in our new building that's on 105. So I took the initiative, I pitched, and I fed like the man that was doing the executive decisions, Jordan Allen. He tasted my product, he loved it, and he said yes. So we got in there. That was over a year ago. This is like the 4th or 5th month I think Meijer is open, and I'm having a hard time keeping them stocked, honestly. So that's a blessing. Business is very difficult. People might think that once you open a business, it's just smooth running, or you're gonna be rich and you're gonna be rich eventually. But it's like they say, overnight success, overnight blow-ups happen in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's like maintaining this, I take a lot of sacrifices. I have to sacrifice things that I want. I have to sacrifice, other things to make sure that my business is succeeding, So success, it may look peachy on the surface, but there's a lot that goes into it that I think that people don't realize, They say that 80% of businesses, 85% of businesses that start up that aren't already established fail, right? Within their first year. So, I'm determined to succeed. And I didn't think I was gonna make it this far, so I really want to scale my business. That's where I'm at now. We just dropped our second ice cream. So we make ice cream sandwiches, cookie dough, and then an ice cream alternative, the Nerikiri Wagashi. So we just dropped our second rendition of Sushi Sweets in Meijer, now available. So thank you for asking.
Of course, definitely make sure y'all go get that. I still need to try that one too, the second rendition. So do you guys make those like fully from scratch?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but thankfully I've got one other sushi chef, my wife, and she helps me. It's really true. They say, focus on one woman and she'll help you with everything, you know, make everything a success. But she also has 2 other businesses of her own, which I work for her doing, you know, like
Yeah.
she has
it's a trade-off.
Yeah, she's got like this e-commerce business. It's called Itadaki Box. Shout out to Itadaki Box. We actually import every time. So the first business is Field Trip, where we would take people from America, no matter where they were at, and we would go to Japan. We would build an entire itinerary of things that you would never find in, you know, with a tour guide. And, you know, while we were there, we would also take our vacation after our guests left, and then we would re-up on a bunch of Japanese-made snacks. We would send them back. This is her business, though.
Yeah.
Send it back, and then she would, you know, export them all around the world or the country. So she's super busy with her own business, but all the help that I get from her to Sushi Sweets is a big blessing, because there's some nights I'll be doing cases and cases of work, and like, man, it takes a lot of fucking work to make these things. Like,
I'm sure. That's why I asked that question, if you make it from scratch, because that's incredible.
Like when I created the item, I didn't expect that I would be creating it in such a surplus. You know?
Right, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be
Didn't
small
even
order
think that
type shit.
far.
I really didn't, dude. And so now that it's like kind of getting like some traction, I'm like, oh shit, I got a new job. You know, like I got an obligation.
A million %.
So I'm really gonna take this as far as I can. I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm gonna really stick my foot in it, and you know, give it some real effort, see where I can take it, man. Because I believe that
you've gotten farther than 99% of anybody that started a business by getting your product into a big box store. You know what I mean?
Whew.
So it's like now the challenge is sustaining that, keeping them happy, and then after that expanding.
It's most difficult because, as I mentioned before, every sushi suite is made the exact same way as real sushi.
Yeah.
So you can't get the authentic look of real sushi without knowing how to make sushi.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, the only thing next would be to open up your own spot where you and your girl are, yeah, there we go. You know what I mean?
No, it's actually coming, man. I got a whole entire business plan. You know, I'm not trying to show my entire
of course
deck
not.
of cards in hand here, but, you know, we're definitely going to have a real sushi restaurant here soon. You know, I greatly appreciate it if y'all would support that. It's, you know, I mean, honestly, one of the best things I learned from business is that you cannot depend on your friends and family to make you rich.
Fuck no.
They're
not rich.
Right. You have to, you know, you can't depend on people that you know.
Or,
right?
you know what I mean? You don't
Right.
just want to get handouts. Like
Yeah, you got to find your target audience, and then you got to market it to them, right? You got to sell to them. So yeah, man, we gonna make it something happen. Another thing I learned about business is like yeah, I'm super proud of like, you know, what I'm doing. I'm super proud of like, you know, my brain. But one of the best things I ever learned was to separate my personal image from business. Because people have these prejudices, people have these preconceived notions, you know, and it's just really important that people focus on the product and not who's making it. So I appreciate you for recognizing me for this, you know, but also, you know, love Sushi Sweets for what it is, you know, for this anime.
Just a great product overall.
Product look. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
No, from the branding to the product itself, you know what I mean? I mean, you can't, it's indefeasible. Like,
man, so that logo, though, one of the coolest dudes that I never met. Shouts to Richard Tykes out of Chicago. This dude is a fantastic graphic artist, okay? I actually started out buying his art first because I loved it that much and the amount of detail put into it. But then I was like, yo, I really want him to make my label, like my logo. And then from there, we just continued to tweak it, and that's how it looks so beautiful now, man. I had a vision for what I wanted it to look like, and he really just spat it out. So
that's amazing.
if y'all looking for an absolute dog of a graphic designer, Richard Tykes. His name is Filthy Rich on Instagram.
That's dope, man. And
Thank
then
you.
kind of going back to the business aspect, are they happy with your output, or do they wish like you could pump more out? Or
Oh, Meijer?
yeah, Meijer.
So Meijer actually just told me like, yo, we need you to get in here and do more demos. They told me we were starting out with 1 case at a time. Now they need 2 cases every time I drop, every time I come. So it's definitely picking up. They're happy, but they want more from us.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like later this year, I'm gonna actually get a headquarters, like a restaurant kitchen, and then I'm gonna hire some employees. But you know, like I said, they got to be sushi chefs. So this is like where it's we're gonna kind of bump heads, like trying to figure out like employee wise. Like I got some cool ass people that help me with my sushi endeavors. Like the one that we did at Rebar. You might have noticed there was a guy back there making sushi with me. There was 2 guys, but the one guy that was on the sushi line with me, his name is Gio. My boy Gio, man. You were literally one of my best friends. Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you so much for teaching me how to sharpen my sushi skills. You know, like I knew sushi from my wife, but what's crazy about sushi is that no chef will teach you sushi actually no chef will teach you sushi. That's just a Japanese criteria. Sushi is not taught. You observe sushi for a very long time, and then you learn how to make rice, okay? So my wife actually didn't teach me sushi when I first asked her.
Yeah, she's like, nah, bro, that's not how this works.
She would always be like, okay. And then I'd be like, and then, a year go by. I'm like, babe, teach me how to make sushi. Okay, I will. She never taught me.
You're not ready, young grasshopper.
Not until, no, for real. Not until we worked together at Domo Yakitori and Sushi. And so, I learned from her how to do the, basics. And then I lied on my resume at Benihana. And I'm like, yeah, I got 5 years experience, And so I got in there, my boy Gio, who helped me with the rebar joint. He could tell by my technique that I didn't have 5 years, but what do? He would just give me the small corrections to refine my technique and shit. So, like I was saying, man, it takes a lot of work.
Just a respect, like, okay, bro, you did what you got to do to get in here.
Yeah, he saw the passion.
Now let's make sure,
right,
you can keep up. Like, we don't want you falling to the wayside.
But since Sushi Sweets needs to be made like real sushi in order for it to have the sushi aesthetic, I have to hire sushi chefs.
Yeah.
And that is probably going to be the most difficult part about maintaining the volume. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like you were just saying, that's just not just taught, it's learned over a long period of time. So something like that, you can't just get somebody that just might be a little familiar with cooking or anything like that. Hey, come in here, do this.
Yeah,
no, it's it's an art form.
Yeah, so I think the way I'm gonna have them do it, I'm gonna teach them how to make the ingredients, and I'm gonna probably be the the spearhead of it all.
There it goes. That would definitely be the easiest way to go about that for sure, I would think.
Right.
Just do all the prep, and then I'll do the final touches. Do the art part. You make the ingredients, get that ready for me. You bring me the paint.
Right.
And I'll
Precisely.
draw. I'll do the painting.
So yeah, man, we got some plans in the mix, for another sushi night. This one we're thinking is gonna be just nigiri night, only nigiri, no rolls.
That's my favorite shit.
Me too.
That's the purest form, I feel like.
Sorry about your rice last time too.
Oh, it's all good, bro.
Yeah, man. We had some technical difficulties in the kitchen, and we had to quickly make some adjustments. And I'm so sorry it didn't come out how I intended.
It got low-key slammed too.
Yeah, but things must be perfect. That's just how it is.
Definitely made for it at that birthday party.
Birthday party?
Rashida's party or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was gas.
That was fire.
Oh, that was so gas.
And then you just walked around, started blessing people with stuff towards the end. That was, that was amazing.
I can't wait.
So you talked briefly about a couple places that you worked at or whatever. went out to eat one time. What is the place called? In Tremont. Ginkgo. So what was your experience like working there? Because that's probably like one of the better, if not the best.
Very best,
Cleveland.
actually.
Yeah.
Ginkgo is the very best sushi restaurant in Cleveland. I can say that because I've worked at all the best.
That's what's up.
Ginkgo was like...
Because that was my outlook too.
The best way that I could explain my experience at Ginkgo was like... If Sora was Cobra Kai, which it is,
Yeah.
then Ginkgo was Mr. Miyagi.
That's fire.
It was so difficult.
I like that.
It put me through the ringer.
Well, yeah, because you worked at Sora too.
Sora was my first job after Benihana.
Okay.
And one of the co-owners, I'm going to say his name because I don't like him, and honestly, fuck you, Kevin Huang,
Okay.
he treated me very disgustingly. It was unwarranted, and I was actually looking forward to learning from him and his executive chef, Josh Mondragon. However, the way that they treated me, never, ever, ever, ever again. You know what? I never again want to work for them or even, you know what I'm saying? None of that. But Ginkgo, though, working with Chef Jake under Cleveland's only Michelin star chef, Dante Bacuzzi.
Yeah.
Dante, he has been my most recent mentor, and he believes in me to the point that I never thought another grown man would. This man had such a very calm demeanor, and man, he was just one of the best teachers I ever had in sushi, man. Like the best teacher I ever had in sushi. Like I said, they don't really teach you, but they correct you.
Yeah.
And
As
so
any good teacher does.
Exactly. So unfortunately, when I started working for Ginkgo, it was only my 4th year in sushi. So I wasn't good enough to be there. You need like 10 years experience to keep up with the volume there. So I was only at Ginkgo for 2 months and a week. And I learned so much that I could get a job anywhere in the world doing sushi now.
Mm-hmm.
But I miss it. Honestly, it's the only other place I'd ever work other than Ishoni.
I was gonna bring them up.
Ishoni is gas, bro.
They're not in Cleveland, so that's why I didn't say nothing. Shout outs to Joe. Shout outs to I'm forgetting the what's his name? Yeah, because I went to a couple omakases there.
Yeah, Joe, he's the owner, right?
Joe's the owner.
Yeah.
And then the other, like one of the main dudes, I am so mad.
Yeah,
Ryan.
Right.
Ryan.
And then there's a third guy, and he's really good too. I've only ever got to talk with these guys and like experience their food. I would love to work for them and work with them.
Did you see that they're opening up? Yeah.
I inquired.
Yeah.
Omakase.
They're like just great dudes too. Because I remember the last
really good.
omakase I was at, they had like a couple A5 dishes towards the end, and they were talking about how they use the A5 fat and put it in the rice in the one dish. And I was like, could I like buy some of that fat? Walked to the back, just gave me a tub of it. I was like, okay, like how much do I owe you? Like, bro, just
really
keep it. I'm like,
what?
And I just never fully. I essentially I just like. I like made like a turkey burger with it or something. Just like did not do it any justice. So like looking back and I'm like, man, I'm terrible. Like these dudes gave me this blessing.
They gave you a rare item right quick.
Yeah.
Pokemon style rare item,
Hell
bro.
yeah. They gave me that
fire.
Rare candy. They gave me evolution stone. That's an evolution stone.
Hey, that's fire, dude. But yeah, Ishoni Ramen, they coming with the omakase in Ohio City. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get in there, you know, because omakase I found where I belong in sushi, and it is omakase.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my god.
that's where artist truly gets to like come to light. You know what I mean? You're not just like, okay, they want this, they want that. You gonna get what I give you, and you gonna love it.
Right.
And I'm gonna create a story with this.
Yeah, because you know
what I mean.
I've actually made a believer of a lot of people for sushi. You know, a lot of people I meet, especially black people, they say, yo, I don't eat raw fish, I don't eat sushi, you know, it's gotta be cooked it's gotta be cooked in hot ass grease and shit. I'm like, yo, try this, you know, and then they be like, what the fuck? Like they advocate for it now.
My last interview was with Low Life Lane. He was talking about how he don't really care for food like that. Like he likes burgers or steaks or whatever, and I'm like, bro, there's literally fish that can be made to taste better, like the best steak you've ever had. He's like, nah. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that nigga to eat sushi for a minute now.
Yeah, I was like, damn, like this. I like took it upon myself like it's a challenge. Like, but at some point, man, we gotta get him to try. What is that cut of tuna? It's essentially like a tuna steak, but Otoro steak. Like, bro, come on, please. But he was also saying he doesn't like fatty things, so it's like, okay, that might be a little thing. But the Otoro steak, that's not that fatty. Especially if it's like thinly sliced or whatever. Like, that might be the best piece of food you've ever, like, bro, I love that.
Oh, hata ni narimasu. I'm getting hungry, brother.
You feel me? Same now. Talk about this food. And like, I was frequenting Ginkgo a couple times a week. Like I said, I went to 2 omakase at Ishoni. Like, I would try to go every week, if not every couple weeks. But over the last 2 years, I'm probably making 100% less money. Not 100% less money.
No, I get it.
Like 50% less
Inflation's
money. Inflation's
a bitch now, man.
And not even that. It's just like my business just...
It's inflation,
you know what I mean?
bro.
Just tumbled.
Because, like, you know, the common person, you know, purchasing our items can no longer really afford to because they have necessities, right?
And I was gonna say, especially because it's just like, whatever, just like clothes, shoes.
It's fucking ugly right now, ain't it?
Yeah. And it's just like, man, I just miss going to these places. I like build relationships with these motherfucking kitchens. You feel me? Just like, even across the street from where we are now at Molto Bene, like, the chef sees me, he don't even speak English, I don't think. And
cool.
he just like, Tony. Because like every time I go in there, like they have this thing on their menu where like you could buy the kitchen drinks or whatever to show appreciation. It's only $10. I'm doing that every time. I'm doing that every time, and I'm still tipping 20%. That's not coming out the
They drink it on the job? I hope so.
No, they wait till the end of the night, they get their drinks, and then they'll have like a little dinner with the staff or whatever, but...
Some of the coolest restaurants I worked at, we drink on the job. I ain't gonna say which ones though.
I mean, alcohol does something. I mean, it could do something negative, but I feel like it brings a lot of positivity too.
Oh, to the experts, man, they put that love in there. They get that sake in. I'm like, bro, what?
And sake, that's different than like a bourbon or a whiskey or like some cognac. You know what I mean?
Back there with some with some Jack or something. Hey, I ain't gonna say where at, but. Man, one of my favorite sushi jobs, right? One of the coolest niggas I ever met was the dishwasher. This nigga, it was only me and him, only black dudes in the whole restaurant. He'd be like, yo, this nigga be in the back breaking dishes and shit. Like, man, why the hell this nigga always breaking dishes every night? Yeah. Come to find out he got this slogan, if you break them, he ain't gotta wash them. Anyway.
That's foul.
This nigga would call me into the back when he noticed it was getting slow. He'd be like, hey, Keegan, let me see you in my office. I'm like, all right, bet. Go to the back. This nigga got the whole fucking bottle in the back, nigga. You pour me up, get me right, get back, dap that nigga up, get back to work, man. That's drinking on the job at a restaurant is actually a great experience, man. Especially if you're an expert at what you do, man. You know.
Yeah. Lightens the mood a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard work, man. And I never thought I used to burn eggs when I was a little boy, man. I didn't think I was ever gonna be a cook, let alone a chef, you know?
Right.
And there's definitely a clear distinction, as you know, between a cook and a chef.
1,000,000%.
Not everybody that cook is a chef.
My My thing, I'm gonna get a rotisserie chicken, bust that bitch down, throw some rice in the rice cooker.
Rotisserie chicken, my shit though.
It's fire.
And some
Easy.
risotto, I'm going nuts.
Yeah. Like I'll let the people who really love that and who know how to do that do that. That's not a trait I care to learn because I've had some of the best food ever, and that's all my wheelhouse, man. I'd rather go support those people that have dedicated that time already.
Bro, whenever we go out to Japan, I'm gonna get introduced to some hard ass, nice ass fucking.
I can't wait, man.
You talking about A5 Wagyu? A5 Wagyu in America is nothing.
Right.
They all claim that it comes from Japan, but that's actually false. It's illegal to transport A5 Wagyu from Japan to America. I forgot what stipulation makes it illegal, but it's absolutely true. Yeah, so all the A5 Wagyu that's in America actually comes from where? Australia. Yeah.
Well, at Ishoni, they do this whole breakdown where they get their shit like from the mountains of Japan, like the snow mountains of Japan. It's called like Snow A5. They show the certificate and everything.
Really?
Yeah, they break it down, man.
There may be stipulations or regulations that I'm not aware of.
Right.
But for many years,
definitely break that down.
It wasn't
but I've heard that
possible.
same thing. I've heard that same thing.
It wasn't possible.
And just a lot of people just be lying.
Yeah, they do.
Like
it's true.
I remember, so I've had the A5 at Ishoni, and then I was down in North Carolina. I went to this like little Asian spot, like Japanese spot. I think they had like maybe ramen was there, but I went there like for sushi or whatever. And they had A5 nigiri. I'm like, okay, gotta get that.
Yeah, gotta have it.
Got that, and this is like I ate it. I'm like, I don't know, bro.
Bro. Right.
I don't know.
So here's the thing. So I think it's like, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like 80, 70 something % of the Wagyu in America is actually, it's Wagyu because the cow is raised with some methods that make the ratio of fat to muscle, right? However,
it might be a long distance relative from actual full blown.
Well, see, most of the cows that A5 Wagyu, whether it be in Japan or it be in America or Australia, are all like Black Angus cows, right? And so it's that breed of cow that's commonly Wagyu.
Right.
Now, there's like some barriers, right? Because here
and
it
I
is.
feel like that term now is just more so marketing now too. Calling something Wagyu.
Right.
Like aside from the A5 part, it's not even graded. They're just calling stuff Wagyu beef.
Well, it can be Wagyu as long as the ratio of fat to muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
However, this is a very, very old tradition and method of cultivating cows to the point where they're producing Wagyu fat to that, what's actually called washu. So it's actually, they call it Wagyu everywhere, but it's actually pronounced in Japan as washu.
Okay.
Washu. And so from family to family or even from prefecture to prefecture are different methods, right? And so the methods may be as extreme as massaging a cow, feeding it, luxury food, like, high quality food, playing music, organic music instruments to it to make it relax before it goes to sleep every night, all the way to extreme is like actually like masturbating the cow and making sure that it relaxes and shit. So they actually have these methods to making cows like super fucking relaxed, right?
Yeah.
To the point where you will, let me just say this. I think we talked about this. So I had A5 Wagyu at a spot. It was called, it was at a hotel in Ginza. And they showed me the certificate and where this cow came from. It was from the Ebarashi prefecture where like they specialize in, this perfect Wagyu. Bro, it was so delicate of like meat that like I truly didn't think I was eating a cow or anything gamey. I thought I was eating human flesh.
And like, this is just something else.
Yeah, I took one bite and I like teared up. And I called a waiter over. I'm like, それはどこですか? I mean, それは何ですか? And she was like, she was like, gyuyu desu, gyuniku desu, which is cow meat, right? I was like, long story short, we had this back and forth. I was like, I thought it was human meat for real. The way that it just like fell apart and like, bro, it was crazy, bro. I can't even describe how good it was. I ain't even share it with my girl.
You can't have a bite of this. I'm sorry.
Like she had her own plate.
Yeah, you should have ordered this.
What she order? she had some steak and noodle jar.
Some shit I didn't have.
Right. Man, ever since I had that experience though, bro, like I knew that's how I wanted to live, like as an old man, you know.
I mean, or right now.
Hey, man.
Obviously, you just know what you have on your table right now, but in the perfect world, I'm sure that's what you would be doing. You feel me?
In the perfect world, yes, sir.
That's what I don't like about just like the stereotypical like American mindset. Oh, you work all your life, then you can enjoy it in your 60s, 70s. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's not enjoying life.
Yeah,
especially
but I kind of also see where it's coming
work.
from now.
Well, no, you definitely got to work to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, most of the jobs that you're working in America and stuff like that, you're breaking your body down by the time you get there. You can't enjoy life.
Oh, yeah. Nah, that's not.
Like, and you might get injured along the way or stuff like that to where, like, you're just going to be collecting disability, you know what I mean, for the rest of your life. Like, it's like, it sounds good.
Right.
But I'm trying to be able to physically and mentally enjoy this shit. I don't want to be all burnt out and be like, oh, yeah. Finally, I retired,
like, what I realize about jobs now is that you're not supposed to just get a job. Like, I think that jobs should be looked at as curriculums toward a personal endeavor.
1,000,000%, I agree.
So I realized that, like, when I was, like, doing sushi suites, before I was actually doing sushi, I was like, oh, shit. Like, I was having all these visions, plans, and shit. I'm like, how am I gonna make this shit? I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to make it because I don't know the properties, the skills, or the repertoire of, skills I need to make these things happen. So I believe that I feel like Americans specifically were tricked into believing that we need to keep jobs for a long time to be successful, blah, blah, blah. When in reality, we were all supposed to look at a job the same way we look at school, which is a learning curriculum, be on time,
1,000,000%.
make sure you show up so you get your hours in.
Fuck yeah.
I
couldn't agree more. So, like, for example, like I was telling you, my shit plummeted. My cousin, he had started working at Tommy's and Wine Bar in Rocky River, like doing barback stuff, like maybe a year ago or so. And I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, anything opens up, like, I wouldn't mind, like, doing that. I've never worked anywhere close to a kitchen. The only jobs I ever had was finish line and exhibition. That's the only clocking jobs my whole life. And each one of those, less than a year. Like, my whole life. So I really haven't had, like, a job in a decade, literally.
Fire.
So he said a spot opened up recently, like a month or two ago. And but really, like, I want to own, like, my end goal, own properties and small local businesses. You feel me? My mom, amazing cook. My little brother, he went to culinary school in high school. He went to like JVS, vocational school, and he did like desserts. He's working at the Oberlin Hotel in the kitchen or whatever. So it's like, I would like to highlight that. Like, I want to own a local small restaurant and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm really gonna get to learn about the shit. And I love it. And all I'm doing is running around the whole time.
Oh,
you know
for real?
I mean?
You like it?
Yeah, I love it.
That's cool. So.
Like, I like to stay busy. I don't want to just be complacent. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, and being a barback, you're like front of the house and back of the house. Yeah. So it's like I get to see like what the cooks are doing, the chefs are doing.
The whole operation.
Yeah, I'm inside and out. Like, so it's ill to be a part of that. And it's like, it's a great kitchen staff. Food's great. Like, just all around, it's been a great experience. And I've only had less than maybe 10 shifts. You feel me? Like, I'm still going, I just started going back and forth to Boston again, helping my uncle out with his stuff out there. And they work with me on that, which is dope too. So it's like, okay, like they're very understanding of like my schedule and stuff like that. So Like a lot of places might be like, oh, you want to go away for a week at a time? You ain't getting no shifts.
Oh yeah, I don't really
Like-
fuck with that.
Like, bro, like people have lives too. Like my life can't be
Yeah.
this.
Right.
So it's very dope that they have that understanding as well, and they'll work with you. Like obviously,
can't
I'm not
stand no
I'm not
jobs like
leaving
that.
tomorrow, and I got shifts planned for next week.
Right.
But it's like give us a timely amount of time. Like yeah, of course. Like
That's why actually during the interview, every time I get a job, I set up clear and concise, not barriers,
stipulations.
and I let them know, like, this is this, absolutely. I tell them what I want. Yo, they be looking at me crazy in Cleveland. They be like, you want 24 an hour? I'm like, that's what I said. And they be like, well, we can't give you that. Well, I'll be like, well, then in that case, I can't work on Saturday nights. I need Sunday and
Yeah.
Monday off every fucking week,
Like, okay, I can't get this, then y'all can't get that.
Oh, and by the way, I don't do any hot food. They be hating that shit, but they know they be needing that shit, especially if you're gonna hire an expert, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. If you want what I'm bringing to the table, this is what must come with that.
Right.
You got to know your worth and not take anything less at the end of the day.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing my worth, man, that'd be making me want to like move to New York real quick and get one of them big ass jobs I know I could get. Man, I'd be wanting to just bounce and just get like a big ass sushi job, making like 75 to 100 bands a year type. More than that and why though? Cause like, I ain't even gonna say too much.
I feel like your path, man, is more so just doing your own thing. You're already there.
Agreed.
You're already there, man, and you'll make way more money.
Yeah, you're right.
You feel me? With the successful, like, come on, bro. Like, there's people think of Cleveland, they don't even know the food we got here, dog.
We got some crazy
We
ass
got some
restaurants.
Motherfuckers want to say Marble Room, no, nigga. Like
Marble Room's gas though.
No, but I'm saying like that's not the
Yeah,
end
that
all
ain't
be
the
all.
pinnacle, though.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you could get low key whatever. Like I've been wanting to try like a few spots that I've seen over the last year or so that I
What
just
you
haven't
thinking?
been able to. Seen this one spot got like gator bites. Like
Oh yeah, it's
like, I want to try that.
soul food.
I want to say so. Yeah, on 25th maybe.
That's a Louisiana cuisine.
Yeah, like I love that shit. I love Creole food.
Yeah.
I want to try. I wish I knew the names of these places, man. But these dudes, I think it's in the Flats. They opened up a spot. Like I just be like, that's what I love doing. Just eating good food. Like
Me
when I
too,
was
brother.
young, like I wouldn't even really eat food. Like I look like a squirrel. I'm chewing food up. It's filling my cheeks, and then I'll drink like a little bit of juice or a little bit of water, and then swallow it with that, like just slowly leak it, like into my stomach. You feel me? Like I was a Pediasure kid.
Okay, right on.
Like so, it's like I finally grew into like appreciating and loving like food, and like I just want to have that experience all day long. Like,
Yeah, bro.
like that's what I want, man. And like what really does this, obviously, I'm highlighting greatness. That's the purpose of this platform. That's the purpose of like those words. You know what I mean? Just acknowledging, highlighting, making people know that like you're doing ill shit. So I definitely have been giving a lot of thought into like a little like food pop up. You feel me? Gathering like my favorite people that I know are involved in food and just having people have that experience. Like just
Yeah.
a little, or even just an overall festival. Have live music. Incorporate that with the food. Like I feel like that's more than capable, and I feel like people would really like that and love that at the end of the day. So that's definitely something that I would want to have in the works, either if not later this year, 1,000,000% next year. Because I feel like for the summertime, it's probably a little too late at this point, but
What you mean?
because like,
do like a
summer's here, like
event?
to schedule something like that.
Nah, you just need like 2 months. 1 month for promotion entirely, and 1 month for setting everything up and preparing.
Yeah, that's true too, man. It's just one of those things where that's why I feel like Nike got the best slogan, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
like I be waking up in the morning, oh, I don't want to just get your ass up, dog. You can.
Yeah, like
Just you just do it, bro.
just do that shit, bro.
Get up, bro. Stop bullshitting. Like
One of my-
do
one of
what
my
you
favorite
need. Do what you know you need to do.
One of my favorite slogans when you know, that came up with everybody like to eat, but don't nobody want to do dishes. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great one.
So when I'm
That's
making
a fucking
food,
great
you know,
one.
and I like eat that food, you know, I'll be like looking at them dishes and I'll be like, man, let me just do this shit and get it out the way.
That's a great one, man.
Thank you, brother.
I feel like that might be a good point to end it too. Off of that.
Oh yeah.
Everybody want to eat. Don't nobody want to do the dishes.
Everybody want to eat, but don't nobody want to do
dog.
dishes, bruh. Man, that's been a great talk, bruh.
Yeah, we definitely got to have a part 2 too.
That'd be cool.
There's just so much more to talk about. We didn't even talk about clothes, music, none of that shit.
Oh yeah, I could give a quick rundown.
I mean, shit, we don't gotta end it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a lot more to talk about.
Nah, this is cool.
Shit, talk about music. How you feel about the squabble we all just witnessed?
So
What's your outlook on that?
I really do not immerse myself in worldly things. So when it came to rap beef, I don't give a fuck. I know the whole world's into it. I know that like it makes me look like a lame sometimes, or like, you know, like people can't relate to me because I can't relate to that sometimes. But like I don't really care. But like I do see spiritual aspects of it. If you want to talk about that, like,
Well, yeah, hell yeah.
like how I think that people forgot that at one point in time wasn't Drake classified as Jewish?
He is Jewish, yeah.
Right. And so, like, you know, knowing the truth about, you know, Hebrew Israelites and then the Jews who are actually Kazakhstanians. I don't know if you know that, but Kazakhstanians is Kazakhstan is a...
This is what, Russia?
It's a country, I think it's beneath Russia, about Russia.
Yeah.
And actually, those people migrated. They migrated out of there into Palestine, you know. And so, like, you know, comparatively, yeah, so it sucks kind of because, like, I am a person that says, like, you know, very controversial things at times, and people kind of don't like me. You know, they might categorize me as this, that, or other because I do speak my mind. But quite literally, here it is. You have Jews versus Israelite, and I saw that spiritual clash, and I was like, well, I know who's gonna win this, but I wasn't really like, you know, immersed in it. But I did think it was pretty cool that, you know, Kendrick goes, you know, if he's stroking a note, it's probably A minor, you know. And then, you know, like I heard that and I knew he was singing it in A minor.
Oh, that's fire too. I didn't even think about that aspect. I wonder if anybody even...
I knew that because I used to be actually musically inclined. Actually, all my life as a child, I was actually musically inclined. I know how to play the harmonica, ukulele, guitar, a little bit of the piano. I was really interested in the saxophone, but I never owned one, so I never learned it. But when it comes to music, like I have a big appetite, and like I can really appreciate a lot of different music.
Well, yeah, I mean, music creates vibrations, and vibrations control everything. You know what I mean? Just those waves.
Woo.
You feel me?
Man,
I don't know if you've seen Terrence Howard, all the stuff he's been talking about lately.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
How you feel about that?
He's a real smart guy, honestly, but I think that he's still got some things to figure out, and I know that sounds like a big fucking statement coming from me. People are gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck?" Like Terrence Howard is smarter than you. Like, I mean, honestly, he's pretty smart, but I think that I think he's still got some things to figure out. I haven't watched the newest interview, but I've seen snippets.
Man, that's one of the best 3 hours I ever watched. Just because it's just like obviously I don't know more than half of the shit he's even saying, but it's like, damn, this is crazy. It's like. That is low-key what might be missing from the world. Like, people have been doing things wrong. We are not able to create these things that were created that we don't know how they were created. Like, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
So it's like there's we're doing things a different way than people for thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years. We're doing things, and look at the quality of the world. Clearly doing it wrong.
Precisely.
So it's like and that's kind of like what I pulled from it. and having all these patents, and he says claims, and it's proven he created AR and VR. All these major brands are using his patent from AR and VR in their products, generating trillions of dollars.
Are you fucking
A
serious?
1,000,000%.
Wait,
That's what I'm saying. You got to watch that interview,
wait. Terrence
bro.
Howard created AR and VR,
Essentially, yeah.
augmented reality,
Everybody's
virtual
using
reality.
his patent in their shit. And once he's saying they're not even doing it right. They're not even using it properly.
Is Terrence Howard actually really that much smarter than I thought he was?
This is what I'm saying, bro. That 3 hours goes by quick, dog.
Oh my God.
And it just, and that's kind of like the
Well, excuse the fuck out of me.
yeah, that's the type of stuff I've been entertaining my time with. That's why I was brung up Billy Carson and stuff, because it's like all this like knowledge that's been suppressed and all this knowledge, like, yeah, Billy, like you said, Billy Carson might be sprinkling in, but I feel like there's some truth in there too. You know what I mean?
There
Just
definitely is.
that way of thinking, that actual history of things.
Terrence Howard is that fucking sharp?
Like, bro,
that's rare, man.
You're getting to see like the real come to light finally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And getting a big spotlight on it. Like being on Joe Rogan, that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest platforms right now that you could be on.
That's true.
I think in the first week, millions of views on Terrence Howard's interview.
Oh yeah,
Millions.
Probably the first day type. For
And
Them
not all
podcasts
of his
starting to
guests are
jump
getting those
too.
numbers. So it's like people are coming to this. I think he might even was doing bigger numbers than the Cat one, if not keeping up with the Cat Williams one.
That makes sense to me though.
So it's like people want that. People have an appetite for that finally.
Yeah.
Because people do see
Because they've
what's
been
going
deprived
on in
of it
the
for so
world.
long, right.
Yeah, they might not even have known
Yeah.
that they wanted that or were interested in that. But it's like everybody's seeing the status of things, and it's like
Damn.
we for sure need a change. And if these motherfuckers are talking about that change and how we could potentially get there, they want to hear about that. They want to talk about that. They want that knowledge, and it's very ill to see that being received well. Because once upon a time, let's say a decade or two ago, people would be like, bro, just shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's trying to hear that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Cool. Don't give a fuck.
Nah, for real though.
Like, but now it's like we're getting to that time in history where it's like it's time for that change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The U.S. is no longer the world power. Like, yeah, maybe physically, the militarized way, but it's like we're kind of losing that status in the world of being number one. It's like, okay, y'all are shady as fuck though. Y'all have taken over the whole world for money, dog. Like, y'all are shady.
The imperialistic ways of America is probably the most disgusting part of America.
And the world's fed up with it.
Yeah.
It's like y'all can help shit, but y'all keep making it worse, dog.
Yeah, but also, it's not America. It's the United States, which is the corporation on paper, the company that is in Washington, D.C.
Specific, yeah.
That 14-mile district. It's them, the corporation, which is the same as Walmart, Walgreens.
Yeah.
They are the ones that are doing all these, acts of terrorism.
Terrorism, yeah. The fuck?
Imperialism, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so it's like very commonly, it's mistaken for the United States of America, which is the country. So, there's a charade going on, and it's really foul.
And people are finally pulling the cloak. Is like people are exposing odds.
I'm really happy about that, actually.
Yeah, I love that.
But I'm also kind of worried because it's like,
well,
what's next?
My whole life, I've always felt like there's gonna be like this crazy big thing that I'll experience in my lifetime, and I feel like we're starting to get to that point. You know what I mean? It wasn't 9/11. It wasn't none of that shit, but I've just like felt like it's gonna be a worldly shift, and like now I'm like almost 30 or whatever. I'm like, it's coming. It's right around the corner. Some type of shift, and at the end of the day, it's gonna be. It might be negative, but for the positive. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's to come.
I believe that it's going to be for the positive, but you know, history has always proven that in order to get to the beauty, you know, you got to go through some shit, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's about to get fucking ugly, right?
Yeah, what did Rick Ross say about Trump and his shit? He was like, you gotta break down the bill back up. Something like I forgot the specific line, but when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, like don't just look at this as a negative thing. Like, yeah. he might come across negative and he's sparking negative things, but he's essentially exposing, like he's giving you the real. This is the real.
Who, Rick Ross?
Trump. Like he's like, this is how these people really feel.
Yeah.
He's not dancing, putting on a mask for you, and then acting like this once he leaves the stage.
Yeah. So
Like he's very out front.
when it comes to this man, you know, I used to really advocate for him and believe that he had better intentions than he truly does. But I realize now that it really is two sides of the same coin. And
And that's what I'm saying. Like he just
really-
doesn't have that mask on where he's lying to you.
Yeah.
Like he kind of does.
But there is a mask.
Yeah.
You know, there is a facade.
It's just that different one.
And also,
It's not the stereotypical political mask.
like, what really freaked me out, though, is that, you know, I used to hear a long time ago, more than a few years ago, that Donald Trump would be the last president of America. And so when I heard that, it freaked me out because, like, how the
No,
fuck?
it's gonna turn into a dictatorship.
How does
kind of
anybody know that, right?
Right.
Like, how is that a rumor? And so when it was announced that he was actually running is when it really got real and fucking strange.
Are you saying before he got elected the first time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There was a
okay.
rumor going that he would be the last president. And so the fact of the matter is that
That's weird.
He was already the president already, right? But now he's about to run and he's going to win. We already know that.
He has to win.
But why don't we have any other choices? Why isn't anybody talking about the election? What the fuck is going on?
Because everybody already knows what's about to happen.
And that's bizarre. That's not good.
And the hell yeah. And the only other option would be Kennedy, but they're making it so he's not going to be an option. So
Did he actually? Is he running for real?
yeah, he's campaigning right now to be president.
I didn't know about that.
You feel me? Then that's bad. Because he is the only other option, and he has to run independent. So it's really a wrap, and they're doing everything they can to stop him from being on ballots in states. Everything they can.
Bizarre shit, man.
Yep. Joe Biden didn't allow him Secret Service. Like, bro, his family has been assassinated, dog. Multiple people have been taken out his family. You're not going to give this man... And he said he's the only presidential candidate in history that's been denied Secret Service. That's fucked up, dude.
That's bizarre, bro.
That doesn't make sense.
It
does, but like...
I comprehend politics really well, but I fucking hate politics.
I mean, politics are what is wrong with the world. Or the way politics is currently ran. Because it's all for money, not for the people. At the end of the day, if we wanted to make everybody, give everybody a good quality of life, we can. But they don't. Why not? Because you need people down to keep you up.
And that's disgusting.
It's gross.
Because before when everyone truly was equal, when everyone really was equal, there was a genuine reciprocity and everything was barter system. Everything was
You do this, I do that, let's exchange.
Like, the empires that came before us that created all the things, like you think that they were lower societies? No, they actually were higher societies that created things out of natural means, and so they were biodegradable everything, and that's why there's no real proof of societies before our most recent one, right?
Exactly.
It's fucking weird, man. I really, really just want the best. I really just want a free fucking country.
Yeah.
That's why
what's crazy is we are low-key
Ohio.
the freest country, and we're
People
still not free.
Still don't believe that, though. See, here's the thing, though. America is quite literally free. Like, actually free. Still to this point, and people be like, oh, no, we're not.
I hate when people try to shit on America, because it's
I
like,
hate that
dog, go to
shit.
a different country, dog.
Bruh, they
Try to
really
do something that you want to do.
Bruh, I got pulled over in Japan for roller skating with my shirt off. Bruh, they put me in handcuffs. I almost went to jail over that shit. You seen what happened to Nicki Minaj just a couple days ago.
I didn't. What happened to her?
She got arrested in Amsterdam for bringing weed to the country. At the airport, right. You're supposed to buy it there in Amsterdam. You're not allowed to import it. So they actually arrested her for that. Yeah. And it's like, y'all shouldn't, y'all say, oh.
Meanwhile, motherfuckers is flying to Cali, from Cali with pounds in their suitcase.
I can't stand these motherfuckers on the internet going, oh, America's bad,
And that's just propaganda.
It is. And it's
I feel like the general American kind of has that understanding that, like, yeah, no, this is the best country.
Like, no, this is a fire-ass fucking country for real,
And the fact that we
bro.
can go to different states and have completely different experiences, cultural things, and stuff like that, that just makes it even better. Like, we have the whole world in America.
Bro, Texas is larger than, I think, 70 countries. Like, this is fucking nuts.
One state.
Nigga. Like, what the fuck?
One state.
That's why I love Ohio so much.
And that's what's good about America, though, too. You don't like certain laws? Move.
Exactly.
Move.
You don't like taxes? Move to Wisconsin.
Or Texas.
Start your business in Wisconsin. Guess what? Any business started in Wisconsin is not subject to federal tax.
Federal tax. Wow. I was just talking about state tax.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Shout out to the cheeseheads.
Facts,
Damn,
bro.
that's fire.
That's why Kanye be advocating for these places, Wyoming and Wisconsin. Kanye, man, look, I'm trying to tell you, man,
I'd rather pay state tax than federal tax. At least the money's going to where I'm from.
Exactly.
To where I'm based.
Federal tax goes into what? War.
Yeah.
That's all it's ever used for.
Everybody's not.
Or is pocketed by the fucking
It's paying these
executive
people that are
branch,
keeping
right? Or the judicials,
people
right?
less than.
What's crazy is that if people knew how to read properly and know how to write properly, if people knew what cursive was for and how to use a red pen versus a blue pen, guess what? America would be a lot more free.
And why is that?
Well,
Break down why the pen color matters and the purpose of cursive. Because they don't even teach that no more.
So cursive is going extinct. Why? Because cursive. Okay, so there's a few rules about language, right? Mm-hmm. Languages that are written as one entirety, such as Arabic or English in cursive. First off, it's proven that is not made by a dead entity. It states that it's a living man writing this. This is living man. So it's hard to explain, but the workforce and the world was like, this system was erected for computers in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Or for dead entities. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of hard, like, for the common person to comprehend. But they pretty much categorize everybody as a dead entity because they're writing in black pen and they're writing in print. And sometimes they even spell their names in all capital letters. Now, when I grew up in school, we were taught that English, for it to be proper English, you could not spell your whole name in capital letters, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's incorrect. Why is it that it's on the birth certificate, it's on the social security card, it's on every state ID in all capital? Well, because that's actually a foreign language. It's a foreign language of dead entities, computers, things that are not allowed to own property. So cursive being written in legislation or to a legislator or to a judge actually says this is living man. What can actually more solidify it being a more powerful letter or a more powerful notice or a more powerful demand is if it's written in red ink. Red ink actually, the color of ink in business actually symbolizes living man, business entity, dead entity. So you guessed it. Anything written in black ink is actually saying, oh, this is a computer or it's a dead entity writing it. It has no substance. It's just rhetoric. Mm-hmm. If it's written in blue, actually, you're only supposed to do business in blue ink. Always have a blue, no matter what you do, whether it's signing something in court, or if you're writing a letter to your teacher, if you're writing something for school, make sure it's in blue ink, because blue is the color of commerce. Blue is the color of business. That's why Chase Bank is in blue. But if you notice, you go to any bank, they always got pens in black. So things written, signed, used in blue ink can be revoked because we're doing business and there's clear distinction. So every contract is either revocable or irrevocable. If it's in black ink, it's not really revocable because it's like permanent. It says like this person has no substance. It's not a living man. It's not even a business entity doing business. This is civit mortis doing business, you know. But if you write in red ink, it symbolizes flesh and blood. You ever heard that? Slaves were considered 3/5 of a full man?
Yeah.
And why is that? Well, because the common slave, which are actually indentured servants, which people don't like hearing.
Right.
Indentured servants, why were they indentured servants? Because they're getting paid 5 cents a day. And 5 cents a day was like a common wage, but it's also like compared
Slaves got paid?
Huh?
Slaves got paid?
Either they got paid 5 cents a day or they got room and board.
Okay.
So they were considered slaves, but they're actually just employees because every plantation is actually the very first LLCs. So every LLC is still actually a plantation, whether it be non-physical or physical. Everyone is. So 3/5 of a man, right? What makes 3/5 of a man? What makes 5/5 of a man? And I always usually leave one out because I can't remember. But what makes 3/5 of a man? It's flesh and blood, nationality, his mind, a body. And then there's a fifth one. So since most of us don't know our nationality and we don't claim it, therefore so we're always considered 3/5 because we got flesh and blood, which is the same thing as like a mind body. I mean the body, but then there's the mind, and then there's like, I don't know if it's mind, body, and spirit that make 3/5, and then like nationality is the fourth, and then there's a fifth thing that I always forget that makes a full man. It might be religion, I can't remember, because religion is something that's only practiced by men, and when I say men, I mean mankind.
Right.
So them trying to get everybody to denounce religion is actually a strategy to get more people to subject themselves to being 3/5, 2/5, 3/5 of a man, not an entire being.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
So, you know, if people knew how to read and write properly, write in cursive, knew how to actually use a dictionary and send those things where they need to go, America, people would have a far different experience. Take, for instance, some of my closest friends know I'm on a do not detain, do not arrest list. Only for Ohio, though. And that's because I literally have sent in an injunction. An injunction is a restraining order against a business specifically. You can do injunctions against other people, but they don't matter as much. They're not going to get you as much. You might as well just file a restraining order. So I filed an injunction, and therefore the police cannot pull me over. They can pull me over, but they can't arrest me. They cannot detain me once they see that court order action, you know. And so this is something that anybody can do as long as they send in, you know, the notice. You have to send in a notice of, you know, there's so many different notices that you can send to put senators and all people of government officials. You can send them letters and let them know, look, I know who I am, I know what you are, therefore you have no authority over me, and this is why, and I demand you put me on this do not detain list. And it worked. So me and my girl both want to do not detain. But when they pull me over and they pull my name up, it still comes up armed and dangerous.
How the fuck does that work? So you can't get arrested?
Well, I can if I commit a crime. If I've been suspected of committing a crime.
Yeah.
You know, that's why.
But why else would they detain you other than that, though?
Because they suspect that you've been speeding, which is not a crime. You ran a red light, which is not a crime. You got marijuana on your person, which is not a crime.
What do you mean by not a crime?
So a crime as defined in the Black's Law Dictionary, which is the official dictionary that judges and lawyers use to actually define all the words they use in court when they go on record. Right, legalese. So it's the definition the definition of a crime is physical bodily harm or an impediment on someone's business. So me speeding at 100 miles per hour on the freeway is not an impediment on somebody's business. There's something called logical fallacies in the English language. And one of them is if this, then that. So penal codes, statutes, all these regulations, they are logical fallacies, which we call the color of law. The color of law is literally that. It's like saying if this, then that. So since you're speeding at 110 miles per hour, it's more than likely that you're going to get into an accident, but you haven't harmed anybody. So based on that hearsay or that idea that you might harm somebody, you therefore are subject to the color of law, which are penal code statutes and not actual real laws. So the only real laws that there are in America is do no harm.
Yeah.
That's what the Constitution is based off of.
That's hard. But like obviously you're still gonna get a ticket, but like you can't just like arrest me or take my property.
Well, sure, they can give you tickets all the time, and tickets are actually just presentments. Presentments are literally them asking for permission. They're asking.
Yeah, because you have to agree to it.
Yeah, and even if they give it to you, you can always write on it in blue ink, I do not consent, or you could write in red ink, refused.
Man, this conversation is making me regret it even more because, like, I had, like, camera tickets in Parma, and I just went to the initial joint, and, like, they're knocking everybody's $200 tickets to $10, $5, $20, $30. I'm like, this is crazy. And then when it was my turn, I go up there, and I was like, I have a question. Camera tickets are illegal. So, like, what's up with that? He's like, oh, you could take it there if you want. I'm just like,
see how they throw that intimidation in there?
And I was just like, man, I'm not trying to deal with it. I'll pay my little $160 for 4 tickets or whatever. But then when I left, I'm like, man, why'd I do that, man?
Exactly.
Because
you know deep down it's wrong, right?
Yeah, because then I was thinking too, I'm like, do you pay court fees if you win?
No, you don't.
Yeah, so then I'm like, hold on. Because I was thinking like, oh, well, might have to pay some at the end anyways. But I'm like, no, if you win, why the fuck would you have to pay them? They were wrong.
So about traffic tickets, right? The way that you defeat those, well, the law says clearly you have a right to face your accuser. Always take traffic tickets to court, to trial.
I fucking knew it,
Always
bro.
take them to trial because you have a right to face your accuser. How the fuck
and
are they
since
gonna...
I agreed to this, I can't contest it anymore.
How are they gonna bring a fucking camera in to testify against you?
Yeah, because that's what I said. I said, so it's illegal to have a camera ticket unless there's an officer there to issue the citation.
Correct.
He was like,
you said that?
Yeah.
Damn, you should have stood in your square. You won.
I know, man.
You won. You should have took it to trial. You said, okay.
That was low-key what I was going to do. And
you say, look, not guilty. And then they'd be like, okay. And then what happens is they'll set it for pretrial, right? Yeah. And then you get to talk to a persecutor, right? And the prosecutor. Prosecutor, same shit, right? And so the prosecutor would be like, all right, so how do you want to handle this? They'll probably, offer you a plea or something. If you don't say nothing to the prosecutor and then you take it all the way to trial and then you say, all right, I have the right to face my accuser. Where's my accuser? No one shows up. Guess what? Case dismissed. That's how you deal with traffic tickets.
Bro, and
that's
just,
how you deal
and
with
just
camera
the fact
tickets.
that they're taking these people's $200 tickets and saying, oh, just give me $30. Y'all are scandalous. Y'all are scammers.
Yeah, extortionist.
Yeah, y'all, this is, first of all, it's illegal, dog. Illegal.
Well, it becomes legal by way of consent.
Exactly. Like, that's foul, son. And that just pisses me off even more.
Nasty, brother.
I knew I shouldn't have. I should have just. It was just his demeanor. And, like, motherfuckers started laughing. I'm like, I just became one of the sheep at that point. And I shouldn't have. Because it's
it happens to all of us.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, dude. And now I gotta pay y'all $160 for no reason.
So Rocky River pulled me over. I was driving with no license, no insurance, all this crazy shit, right? And so they, they give me a court case and whatever. So I go in that bitch. I would just keep this shit short and sweet. I actually, I was the first person called in a full-ass courtroom full of people but I be reading, right? And I know like so when you're in court, you're actually playing a game, okay? It's a language game. And so there's actually rules and methods to changing the court. You can change the court. And so one of the things that you must do, there's like these rules. One of them is come with clean hands, right? So that means don't avoid the court, don't avoid your trial, stay in correspondence, you know what I'm saying? Be honorable, right?
Yeah.
And the second thing is never, ever, like, call out the court in front of a bunch of people on what they're doing wrong unless you give them private notice through mail. So you're supposed to give them a notice of restricted appearance that says me, the living man, and not Keegan Wilborn, the all caps name, and that physical ID, the birth certificate, is actually showing up in court before you. So a living man is here, and therefore I'm not gonna let you steal my booty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm not about to let piracy happen and you steal my assets, even if it be $160 to $200.
Right.
Okay. And so when you send those like special, notices and you let them know what's going on. So anyway, I did that.
So I should have done that prior instead of bringing it up.
Oh yeah.
To
So
the
most of the
magistrate.
time, I don't even go to court. I actually handle court through the mail most of the time.
Okay.
But sometimes courts are stubborn and they like to try you and test you.
Yeah.
So you're going to get tested a lot.
Yeah, like you said, it's a game.
Exactly. So I got in there. Long story short, I held up my driver's license and my passport because they called Keegan Wilborn. And I said, yeah, my name is actually Kareem Kal-El. And, I am the executor of the trust fund, the CESTVQ trust that I was telling you about earlier, erected in 1666 by Parliament in France, right? I said, I'm actually the executor of this trust fund because everything's a trust. Trust funds have always have 3 or 4 entities, people involved, and that is the trustee, the grantor, or the executor. There's a grantor, the person that erected the trust, and then the trustee, and then the beneficiary, right? So I say, you can either take stance as the executor or you can take stance as the beneficiary because you are both, but you can't be the grantor because you didn't make it. Mm-hmm. But the United States made the trust based off of that birth certificate that your foot was stamped to. That's what causes the bond. They bonded your living body and soul to a contract during birth. Mm-hmm. But in reality, you were born. You weren't birthed. But birth is a transaction. Anyway, I say, look. I go. They say, are you Keegan Wilborn? And I say, my name is Kareem Kal-El, ex-relation Keegan Wilborn, which means, it doesn't mean formerly known as, but they'll always try to trick you into saying formerly known as. It means ex-relationship. There used to be a relationship, but now there is no relationship. I just own this name, okay? And so when I said I am the executor of this trust and you are the trustee talking to the judge, this motherfucker got salty as hell.
I bet, like, who do you think you are?
Hey, this motherfucker was making jokes the whole time. He was making jokes with other people. He was chipper. He was asking everybody, I just asked that you remain smiling. All of this shit, right? When I get up there and say that shit, smile disappeared. He said, I see why you're here. And so he says, are you Keegan Wilborn? I said, I am that I am. This motherfucker said, bailiffs, have this man removed from the court immediately. I got thrown off the boat. They threw me out of the court because every courtroom is a boat. Yeah. It is modeled after the boat because, see, commerce is the law of the sea. So there was the law of the land, which is the Constitution. And because when we are born, we don't actually step foot on the ground, which is the land. We step foot on what? On the boat. And that's why there's a dock door, because they're docking a sea monster into the system. And so you land foot, not on land, but on the boat, which is that birth certificate first. Mm-hmm. And so they bond you to that and therefore subject you to what's called a adhesion contract at birth or at born, just so that they can take advantage of you for the rest of your life. charge you for services, because that's why it's called a charge, because they're ringing up something like a grocery store. You're rung up for these services that the United States corporation is supposed to provide to the people because they are public servants. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is they just take advantage of us, run up in our social security accounts, and then they use what's called our CUSP number, right? And our CUSP number is the same number that's traded on the stock market that gives stock and bonds its value. Mm-hmm. So your stock and your birth certificate bond actually becomes more valuable, 40 acres and a mule equivalent in today's money, always, the more that you achieve in life, such as, going through school,
Just
being
all these accolades.
a scribe status, all these things, right? So everybody's got a different value. It's traded on the stock market. They take advantage of that. But if you know who you are and you know who they are, public servants, and you read it a little bit, you can actually shit on them. I love shitting on them, but I hate getting arrested.
That was my thing too. Like, I just love winning in court.
Oh yeah,
that's
fun.
Like challenging tickets. I got time.
Man,
I got the time.
On judges, brother.
Yeah, like I got the time, dog.
I be shitting on judges. I'm salty as fuck. I learned some new shit.
So what happened though after you were?
They threw me the fuck out, and I ain't had a court date. They ain't reissued no court date or nothing. I got my fucking car out the impound and everything.
Didn't have to pay $1.
No, that shit was easy. This is how you got to do it, bruh. Because otherwise they gonna fuck
Yeah,
up.
I feel like I remember this time because
I told him I was like, my bad to cut you off. I was like,
you're good.
He was like, remove this man from court, this and another. I was like, let the record show that Judge Matt A. something refused to do his public duty and administer over this transaction as a proper trustee. And then I said, case dismissed. Before I was left, I was like, case dismissed, and all property all property relinquished will be returned to the owner, to the proper owner. Shitted on this nigga, bro. I ain't had a bruh. Getting a judge to abandon shit is like.
And what's whack about that should be applauded and that should be taught. That should be how court appearances go. But instead, you're just getting extorted, you're getting scammed, you're getting lied to. You're made to feel like, no, this is your public duty. Because the magistrate was making everybody feel dumb the whole time for these tickets, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody here is for some type of camera ticket, whether it be going through a school zone or speeding or whatever shit like that. Mm-hmm. And he was making them feel dumb. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, do you know where this is at? Mm-hmm. No? Okay, make sure you drive back and forth 20 times so you're familiar. Print out something, let all your friends know.
Objection, relevance? I'll go off on his ass.
Like, dog, telling everybody, tell your friends. That's like a gang coming in your neighborhood, like destroying your property, tell your friends.
And you're supposed to, like,
that's some mob shit.
When you do these things, though, you're supposed to do it in the form of questions. So, like, one of the most powerful things that you could say to a judge, especially in regards to this, you say, did the prosecutor file a claim to injury? Are you an Article 3 judge? Oh, you're a magistrate?
This was just a magistrate, yeah.
You're just a magistrate? Oh, you really have no authority to oversee or administer my motherfucking...
Like, he was just there to broker deals.
Precisely.
That's what all he was doing the whole time. Because and this is what makes me even more mad. Because I'm seeing it. There was a good amount of people before me, and I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, and in my mind, I know this is illegal. I already looked up all this shit or whatever. So I'm like, they're just doing this to get something. If you're trying to say this violation should cost you $175. And you're letting people walk away with paying $5, $10, $20 plus $20 court costs or whatever. You're just here to make sure so you can get something.
Piracy.
Because you know that you're really not supposed to be taking nothing.
Exactly.
And if these laws are passed, why do you even still have these hooked up? Why are people still getting these tickets? How are you supposed to uphold the law and you're doing illegal things knowingly, purposefully.
Yeah. So about that.
Like, how does that work? How are you a government agency doing something illegal, broad day, day after day after day, or Friday after Friday after Friday, courtroom full of people for something that's illegal?
When you step into court initially, it's always going to be a military court. That's why you see the American flag, the American flags, with a with a banner around it, with those fringes around the banner, the fringes around the flag, those golden little fringes. If you see that in a court, then that means you're in a military court. And what does that mean for you? That means that you're looked at as enemy of the state. No, although they all swear an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, well, you got to actually let it be known that you are operating in what's called, so you got to switch the court from military court to common law court, because all rules are based off of natural law. So they can do whatever to you
because you're an enemy of the state.
Not whatever, but they can definitely impose on you and your business or your pursuit of happiness. Yeah, you just got to know what you're doing.
Foul, son.
It's some foul fucking shit, brother. It's foul as hell. And you know what? So I actually got arrested during the whole COVID thing, right? And that's when I had put my injunction in 2019, but I got arrested like 2021-ish.
And what was this for?
And it was because I was not wearing a mask. And so when
You got arrested for that? Oh, you probably tore up the courtroom for that. Hold on,
well,
where did you not wear a mask at?
I was in a grocery store. I was inside of a grocery store, and it's a mandate. It wasn't a law, right? And I knew that. I even had clear, concise contract. I used to carry things with me to show, like, I am not subject to this.
Yeah, you can't.
And so what happened was, I was wearing headphones and I wasn't wearing a mask. And I guess somebody had said something about it. And I was unbeknownst. I was in there to get some dog food and leave. They called the police on me and then said I was trespassing. So because I was trespassing, because I didn't hear them ask me to leave, they arrested me. So when I got arrested, my injunction got nullified. So once you're arrested and you're fingerprinted and thrown back into the system, guess what? Your injunctions, they get nullified. You got to redo it.
Yeah.
Yep. And you got to do it like a year or two after it happens.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, man.
So it wasn't for not wearing the mask. It was because they changed it to, he's trespassing at this point.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's some fucking foul ass shit, dog.
All these hoops.
Exactly.
Make sure to jump through them right ones.
But now that I know what I know, man.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's all
Try
about
if you want.
It's all about correcting the status, though. So everybody has a scribe status, and then they also have obtained status. Those are two different things. So you can actually, the stars on GTA, right?
Yeah.
So you get 5 stars, right? You're doing whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can obtain 5 stars in your passport or on your passport card too, and that means that you are literally you're not an understanding citizen. You're not an upstanding citizen. You are an outstanding citizen. You outstand the penal codes. You outstand the fake laws.
And what does that consist of? Like, how do you?
So whenever they ask you for ID during any traffic stop, that's the first thing every cop will do. They'll never tell you why. They're not saying they need your ID so they can run it. They're looking to see how many stars you got. They're looking at your ascribed or your obtained status.
And is this like visible on the thing?
Yeah, everybody's got stars.
Really? Where's mine? My passport's in here.
Everybody's got 1 or 2 stars when it begins.
Where's it at in the passport? And you said it's on.
Some of us don't have any stars.
Yeah, I don't have no stars on mine.
This is my passport from 2016, so I wouldn't have any stars.
That's what mine's from too.
But after
You said it's on the ID though?
yeah, it's on passport cards and passports.
Oh, okay.
But if you correct your status, and let them know I am 3/5 of a man, 5/5 of a man, then you get stars on your shit, and it lets them know that they're not able to administer over your affairs.
At will.
Yeah, so, and there's some people, such as my mentor, this nigga had, there's some people, you're gonna edit that out.
What about the stars?
Yeah,
Okay.
just teasing. No, it doesn't matter. But there are some people, such as my mentor. What was I trying to say? This nigga made his own motherfucking ID because that's not illegal to do. What is illegal to do is make your own federal or state ID though. You're not allowed to do that.
But you can make something that identifies you, who you are.
Precisely, and that's why there's the whole debate about gender going on.
Well, that's why they ask, like, usually when it's like a government thing, they'll be like, we need a federal ID.
Right.
But, like, if you go to a bar or something, they ask for your ID.
But even if the police pull you over and you have what's known as a state national ID, you could choose your own name whenever you choose. And if
you're talking about something that's not a driver's license, it's
right,
just like, okay.
So you can create your own ID card. It's not illegal, and you can call yourself whatever you want at any given time. If it's a name that does not exist in their system, they're gonna say you're lying. Sometimes they don't even go that far though. They'll look at it, and if they see that it's an ID you made, they hand it back to you. They say, "Have a good day," because they know that it would be too much fucking trouble trying to find out who you are, because it's nearly impossible without arresting you, taking your fingerprints, going through your shit.
Just way too much paperwork,
which is
way
a
too much
huge
time.
fucking lawsuit. So, yeah, man.
This is when you get pulled over, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you need a driver's license, though?
You don't need a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle in America. This is a free country. So, the Declaration of Independence quite literally says that no right shall be converted into a privilege, even though that's what they do with the driver's license by way of consent.
Even though there weren't even motor vehicles at that time?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think motor vehicles came out in the 1800s. But yeah, so your right to travel, though, it's all about your right to travel.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and this is just a means.
When
of
this
that.
was written, so the Declaration of Independence says that no right shall be converted into a privilege. So so you have a right to travel. And so them saying you need a driver's license to do it by car is them converting your right into a privilege.
It's just more extortion.
Which is more extortion.
Yeah. Just another way to get money from people.
Precisely.
Because every year you got to go update your tags. You got to... So what's the deal with that? You need to do that too?
So actually, no, you don't need registration. But I haven't figured it out entirely about the registration game, but you don't need registration. I just actually read something about registration, how to deal with that, but I can't even remember it at this point.
So you still update your sticker every year type shit?
No, I continuously make 30-day tags because that's not illegal to do.
How do you do that? Like, what do you mean by that?
So once you get your first 30-day tag, you copy it because they give you a number. Mm-hmm. What happens is that it just expires because of the number that's on there, because of the date that's on there.
So you just
I just update the date. They're only allowed to give you two at the BMV. Yeah, and then I'll laminate it. Look, bro, I had that car for how long? Almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. I still got a 30-day tag on it. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like once you get the permanent place, then that's when
you. But see, here's the thing though. Because I registered it in the first place, which is the biggest fucking mistake you could do for any of your any private vessel, being a boat, a car, an airplane, because you're allowed to have any. Registering it is actually giving part ownership. So anytime you register anything, register a business, you register a car, you register your
So you
child
don't
in
have an
school.
LLC.
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
wouldn't that
definitely.
be registering your business, right?
Yeah, that is right.
Okay.
So registering your business is actually giving 1/3 ownership to the government. So when you get married, you're giving the government 1/3 of your marriage and giving them the right to intervene and to dictate what happens in your marriage. Same thing when you register a child. Whenever you do the birth certificate or register a child into school, guess what? You're giving the government administrative authority over those things. Anything that comes with a deed or a
Contract.
contract, right?
So what? So let's say you don't. Say you buy a car, you don't register it. Which is that even possible?
Yes.
How?
So this
Because
is
obviously that wouldn't be the case if you buy a car off of somebody, because then they would want to do that. So where would you purchase a vehicle to where you wouldn't?
well, you can purchase a vehicle in America outright cash at a dealership or from a private seller, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to take the VIN number and you want to file. So everybody should have something called a UCC 1308, which is a contract of how you do business with the government. What you do is you file that UCC 1308 with I think it's the Secretary Treasury of your state. And what this is literally an entire contract. It's an entire trust contract that says how you do business and the penalties if they are, what the monetary remedy and penalties are if they tread on your rights. And so then you take the VIN number of the car that you purchased and you put that into the contract and you make it under the trust. You don't own it personally. You erect a trust fund. You erect a trust. And then you get a EIN for that trust. And therefore you don't own the car, your trust does. You control the trust, your trust. So think of a trust as a backpack. And you could put anything into the trust that has, a deed, a title, land parcels, homes, cars,
So
airplanes.
then you don't need any type of plates. Well, when you pull off the lot, you're gonna have.
You have
something.
to have bold plates. A bold plate means like anything that is like clearly. It just has to be something there that says something. You could have it on there. It says private. Most people that I know that do this have private on their plate. It just says private. You can have a vanity plate. It can say whatever, but it's got to be something that's not in their public system. Because here's the thing. This is the difference between being a public citizen and a private American. So public citizens all have license plates. They all have driver's license because this is public information. If I know your driver's license number, I could go to the DMV website and I can look up your whole history of almost everything, actually. But there's also a private side to this too. And that's literally throwing bold plates on your car after it's registered in your trust, and traveling privately.
So, so how do you drive off the dealership with no plates, though? Is that a thing?
You would have to absolutely buy the car outright. You can't drive off the lot with a contract to pay a car off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's not going to work. They're going to subject you to public law.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure. So dealerships would be aware of this. Like,
Oh,
If
absolutely.
you buy it outright, it's theirs. See you. Have fun.
Man, the things I learned about dealerships, bro. First off, down payments are illegal. Down payments are
What do you
illegal.
mean by that? It's illegal for them to collect them?
Yes, because whenever you sign, so here's the thing about money. Money is created by signature. That's why all money, if you have any bill, you take a look at it, it says that it's tender for public and private. On one side, it's got the United States Corporation. On the other side, it has "In God We Trust," because that's the public and private being conglomerated
Combined
on that piece,
onto
on
that
that
note.
bond paper. And then you'll see a signature from the Treasury, and you'll see a signature from the Federal Reserve on each side. So money is actually created by way of signature, and actually not signature, but it can be, because signatures are actually done by public entities, dead entities, signatures. But that's the difference between a signature and an autograph. An autograph is the full name of the person, and it says by. So how do you write how do you write an autograph? You say by, what is it? Colon, Keegan, first name, and lowercase everything. Colon, last name Wilborn, lowercase everything. That's my autograph. But then a signature is my scribble in cursive, which is usually done in black ink, right? But you can write an autograph in black ink and it still have the same amount of validity as if it were written in red ink, because it's a living man.
Okay.
Autographs are by living men. Is this dragging on too long?
Hell no.
Cool.
I was making sure, because I got to bounce at like 350, but.
Yeah, man.
That's fire, man.
Man, there's some deep ass shit. I'll send you documents. I got a ton of shit. I got shit on my phone right now.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that, like, and that's why I had mentioned previously, like, just like even school itself, like the way the country's set up, you work till you die and you learn what we want you to learn. You don't actually learn about the things that you should know and learn.
One of the best things that I ever learned.
Finance and stuff like that, optional class. Like, you have to sign up to take these classes to where you know how to do your taxes. Like, what the fuck is that about?
One of the best things that school ever taught any of us is the Pledge of Allegiance. Try saying that in court next time the judge tries to get you to plea. Just repeat the Pledge of Allegiance over and over and over and over. I dare you.
Why? What happens?
Think about what the Pledge of Allegiance, think about what you're saying. Yeah. Know that we have limited government. The powers delegated by the proposed constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in the state government are numerous and indefinite.
And it's stuff like this that people don't know that makes them more confident saying, oh, we're not a free country. Oh, this and that. Like, oh, we're a terrible country. Like, no, what? In what country can you just tell a judge, no, you're wrong, and you get your car back?
Exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
Here it is. So I'm gonna just, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna just say a few things about crime and what it means. Okay. There are only two ways. Okay. See, it would just be kind of ass for me to just pull this out and just like read this off, because like y'all don't really have great context as to where it's coming from. But okay, so I'm gonna read this. It's gonna be a mouthful. In criminal law, the state correctly asserts that you have a duty to your neighbor to avoid acts of maleficence. You are presumed innocent until proven guilty. That is, the moving party. Usually, the state prosecutor must offer facts to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt in order to overcome the presumption of innocence, right? So, in civil law, the plaintiff must produce a contract to show the obligation created by the contract and provide enough evidence to the judge or jury to convince him or them that his rights were violated due to the nonfeasance or misfeasance. The way the government wins in court. The only way the government can win in court is to prove you injured another or to prove you had contractual duties that obligated you in some kind of performance to the state or to the aggregated party. Okay? So they say, yo, you had a contract with us. Say when you at the BMV and you sign that paper saying that you will not drive until you have insurance and a license. That is your obligation. So if you get caught driving without a license or under suspension, because you actually
agreed to that.
You fucked up on that contract and yeah. So furthermore,
So is that how you drive? Do you have a license because you're?
I don't drive. I travel. So driving is defined in the Black's Law.
Your car is under the trust.
No, I have to be completely honest. It is not.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I actually violate the contract.
Yeah, I got you.
Every single fucking day.
Yeah.
But that's okay because I know how to deal with this when it comes to, being in court and them trying to steal my possessions. I know how to deal with it. And I'll be like, yo, well, as defined by Black's Law Dictionary, I actually wasn't driving because driving is actually providing a service or being paid. So they only have the administration authority over commerce, which is money. So if I'm not doing like DoorDash, Uber.
That's my cousin. You good?
I usually can sense power levels. I did not know anyone else was here. That's just crazy. So, I ain't gonna lie, that low-key shook me. I thought that was the feds popping up. Fucking get down, fucker. But, what was I saying, bro?
You were saying, talking about the, if you're not Ubering, DoorDashing.
Oh, yeah, if you're not Ubering, DoorDashing, if someone didn't pay you privately for a ride, then you're not driving.
You're just traveling.
You're just traveling by way of motor vehicle. Don't even call it a motor vehicle, because motor vehicle is also defined in their law book. You got to call it a private vessel. They say, look, I was operating a private vessel. I was traveling from point A to point B. This was not a commercial activity. Therefore, you had no right. You had no administration. You had no authority in this administration, because this is not a transaction. There was no transaction going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then here we go. The way you win in court. If the government is the plaintiff, you must force them to produce an injured party, a living, breathing human being, or the contract, and show the judge that you agree to the contractual obligations. Okay? Here's another. The way that you win in court, demand to meet your accuser. Okay?
That's what you're telling me about the camera tickets.
And the last one, challenge the validity of an obligation by contract or operation of law on the basis of lack of full disclosure and or information on the face of the alleged instrument. That's crazy. The people insist on remaining informed so that they may remain in control over the instruments they have created. That's why you can create your own ID. A voluntary acceptance on behalf of a transaction is equivalent to a consent to all obligations arising from it. So as far as the facts are known or ought to be known to the person accepting. California Civil Code, section 1589, and that's what you hear in court when people say things like that. They're citing clear and concise laws that have already been written, whether on the state or federal. One more thing, you don't have to prove your own innocence.
You have to force them to prove your guiltiness.
Because they got what's called the burden of proof. Because they're bringing the accusation. There is no injured party. There is no crime. Simple as that. Because there is no contract in existence between you and the state, you are under no duty to perform. And that's how I get away with that, because there is no contract between me and the state. There's only a contract between me and the BMV, which is another company like CVS.
Yeah, so they have to come after me somehow if they really want to do something about it.
And that's why
it's
actually
not up
the
to y'all
BMV
to act on their behalf.
and the BMV actually opens their own cases, if you've ever noticed. Every time you do something. Yep.
That's fire, man. I definitely appreciate that knowledge and you sharing that.
Man, it's been my pleasure, man. I gotta pee like a racehorse, man, and smoke some marijuana now.
I feel you, dog.
Oh,
Appreciate
man.
you, man.
I appreciate you, man. This was a great talk. Let's get hot pot.